Are you sitting comfortably? Then we'll begin.
'Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. There's still time. The AFTN Soccer Show, broadcasting from CITR Radio, 101.9 FM, the unceded Musqueam territory at the University of Beautiful. And a decent fucking temperature for December, British Columbia. I'm Michael McCall.
And I'm Zachary Adam Eisenheimer.
So hot, Zach, in Florida. So expensive in Florida.
I was going to say, are you trying to make people feel bad for you? You're like, it's so hot. It was such a hardship. And you were like, dude, I wish I could have been one of those, 2,000 people that were enjoying that weather.
I mean, should I complain? No. Did I leave the hotel much on Friday? No.
Did you leave on Thursday for the whole day?
Yes. That was a long, grueling day.
You didn't get sunburnt?
No, I did have sunscreen on. I tried to stay in the shade as much as possible. But I genuinely don't know how many times I complained about being too hot. It was usually the first thing I would say to folk. Oh, hey, how you doing? So hot. Was my standard reply. Getting in an Uber. Oh, hi, how you doing? It's really hot.
And they were like, when you said this, and they were like, we know that's what Caitlin says, but how are you feeling?
Hey. Yeah. I mean, back from Fort Lauderdale. At the time of recording this podcast, I have been up for 19 and a half hours.
Perfect time to record.
Yeah. I mean, it's 11 a.m. No, it's not. It's 11 p.m. It feels like 11 a.m. It's 11 p.m. on Sunday night, and I got up at about 6:45 Florida time to get to the airport for a flight that was then delayed for an hour. But at least my flight made it home.
Oh, yeah.
Because I do believe there were some cancellations due to the fact that the weather in the north of America and into Canada, the fog's been bad and the snow's been bad.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, there was an Air Canada flight that I believe saw some people stranded today. So thoughts go to them, because that's not going to be fun to try and get home, and obviously work and extra hotels and everything that goes with that. Because Florida's very expensive. The meals there, and I try to do things as cheap as possible, but I treated myself to some Thai takeout on Friday, nice. And it was pretty much the same price in American dollars as I pay here in Canadian dollars.
So what is the dollar now, like 40, 45%?
Yeah, it's like that was standard pretty much for everything. Everything that you saw was the same price in Canadian dollars, except this was an American.
Yeah. Ouch.
Yeah. But it's a very expensive part of America. We went, after we went to training on Thursday, we went to a nice barbecue place that Daryl that was driving us knew, called Apocalypse Barbecue. And our server is a real estate agent that works after he does his shift in the restaurant to make extra money.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did Daryl join you for dinner?
Yes. It was his recommendation.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, it was Daryl, Gemma from Canadian Press, me and Har, and amazing barbecue food, I've got to say. I mean, we're never going to be in Fort Lauderdale again, now that Miami are now moving to Miami.
True.
But I did think when I went down in May, I'm never going to be in Fort Lauderdale again. This time I stayed by the stadium. So I only had one brief trip to the beach, Lauderdale by the sea. Last time I stayed in Hollywood Beach, which is gorgeous, and I would recommend that. It was really nice. Lauderdale by the sea, it's more an older kind of place. Very confusing when you get the bus down, which the wonderful bus driver didn't take my money on the way down. She just waved me on and said, no, you don't have to pay. I have no idea why.
It's not a shuttle from the airport?
No, it was a proper bus.
Oh.
The guy back took my money. I was surprised. I thought I was getting another free ride, so I don't know. She must have thought, you look like a pale white person that's a visitor.
You look like you just need a place out of sunlight.
Yes, you need to save that $2. That's actually something that's not expensive. $2 to ride the bus. Tremendous.
That does sound reasonable. So that's like $283 Canadian. Yeah.
So when we, when the bus got to the bottom, in the middle of a roundabout in the main intersection, a giant Christmas tree in 30-degree heat.
You told me about that.
And a Santa sitting on benches taking photographs with people. When you're driving around and it's so hot, I'll just mention hot again, and all these houses have like blow up Santas and snowmen and reindeer, and you're like, this isn't right. I mean, I know this is what it's like in Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah.
Every year at Christmas, but it's like, that's not Christmas.
It just feels
Christmas
weird.
is cold and snowy, and it was just odd to me. That's my last few days. How has your week been?
Full as usual. Lots of fun. Lots of some good times. Some stuff we'll talk about later as we talk about the World Cup draw, which was quite exciting.
An interesting Friday.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of looking forward now. We've got like Monday. This podcast will probably come out late on Monday, so this will have happened by the time this comes out. But Monday's end of season availability with Jesper and Axel. I'm going to a FIFA World Cup event at Killarney on Monday morning as well. And then from Tuesday onwards, I can actually relax and do something that I've been promising to do for Caitlin for quite a while now, which is tidy up the spare room. Not what you're thinking, get your mind out the gutter.
Tidy up the spare room? How bad is it?
The spare room. It's my dumping ground for stuff. So right now, it looks like someone's just moved in and they've just put everything everywhere. There's Christmas presents in bags. There's just notes from all my soccer commentary just in piles on the floor, and clothes and that I need to hang up, football tops and things that's arrived. A new football top that I bought arrived. It's a football top that's not for a football team, but it's one of my favourite bands, the Sultans of Ping FC, who have featured many times in Wavelength. So they are the shirt sponsor for a fundraising jersey, which was sent from the Republic of Ireland, because they're from Cork, raising for this charity, which when I tell you the name of, I'm probably on a watch list now.
Oh, no.
Because it's got the sender and it's stamped on it. So my package arrived from the Friends of the Rebel Army.
Oh, man.
But yeah, we are obviously going to be talking a lot of MLS Cup in this episode. That'll be in part 1. Parts 2 and 3, we're going to look at what's next for the Whitecaps. And that is in terms of schedule for 2026. It came out weeks ago, but we've been so busy we haven't talked about it. Player decisions, some of which might be announced again by the time that this podcast comes out. Stadium talk as well. A few interesting developments in the last couple of days. And then part 4, we'll look at the World Cup draw, which we've got to get that done quickly because I believe the 2030 World Cup draw starts this weekend, just so they can get it done in time.
You're hilarious.
That was 10 hours of my life it felt I'm not going to get back. Yeah, we'll cover that in part 4. I watched a big chunk of the start with the sound down, so that was beneficial, apart from the fact I had no idea who was on the screen most of the time. because I didn't have the sound up. I'm like, who's that? Who's that weird person with a hat? Oh, is this the hat band?
Yeah, honestly, I actually slept through most of the first hour that was non-football stuff.
Yeah, I didn't leave my hotel room until it was finished. From the minute I woke up, I regretted that now. Should have had a nice day at the beach just watching it on my phone or something. For how it all played out. It was not dramatic, but yeah, we'll come to that in part 4. For this part, let's get into the MLS Cup chat. A fantastic, history-making, record-breaking season has come to an end for the Whitecaps, sadly, on the back of a loss in the MLS Cup final in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, on Saturday afternoon. We've talked before in the podcast about sending the fans home happy at the end of seasons, or at least with someone else to blame, like Tim Ford and referees. It's always good if you send the fans home happy or angry and wanting revenge for the season to come. This year, despite a loss in the last game that they've played, the Whitecaps will be doing just that, and it does feel, Zach, that there's genuine excitement and optimism for this team now and for what's to come in 2026.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is an off season like Vancouver obviously has never experienced before, and I agree with you that the enthusiasm for what's to come can't even be hampered by the result of the last match. It's a really exciting time to be a Whitecaps fan, and there's so many developments and so many things happening both on and off the pitch, and things that are going to happen in the next few weeks that are exciting to see how they're going to kind of just try and progress even further and go even further, even though they took so many steps in this one season alone.
Yeah. I mean, every end of season review that we've done in the previous 14 years of the Whitecaps and MLS, we've always talked about they have to take the next step. What does that next step look like? And we'll come to that in a sec. But to get over 20,000 fans out to a watch party at BC Place was incredible. They almost matched the attendance in the stadium.
Yeah, that's crazy.
The atmosphere looked great. Tom was there. He's got some photos up on our Flickr account, so you check those out. And I know folk that were at it, and they just said, oh, it was great. There was sadness, but there was togetherness, and there was like optimism. You had 2,000 plus fans down in Fort Lauderdale for the game as well. It was just everything coming together to celebrate what had been a fantastic year that 12 months ago you'd be like crazy to think they would have had this year. And then with all the news that then came out about club up for sale, etc., etc. Now, while that is still up in the air, as we'll talk about in the next part, there is so much to take forward now. And to quote Jesper Sorensen in his post-game presser on Saturday, today we cry, but it's proud tears. The tears have to be proud because we have excited people in Vancouver. We have created something that people want to watch. And they have.
A lot of great words from Jesper, kind of to end things for the season, and yeah, those were amongst them. I think it is, a chapter is being written for the Whitecaps like none that come before it, and it is a very, very special era that, like we've been saying, hopefully that they can elongate, prolong, extend for as long as possible.
I mean, you don't want this to be, and we've seen it with other teams, the season that they peak and then it's a plummet.
Yeah.
Like Colorado Rapids won an MLS Cup, the dip. Houston's had it, and LA Galaxy's just had that season. They've won an MLS Cup, and then this season, terrible. You've had teams like St. Louis win the Western Conference and then drop like nothing on earth. That quote from Jesper was my second favourite one from the press conference on Saturday after the game. My favourite one was, it was coming towards the end of it, and I don't know if this is picked up on the audio or not, but the Miami players had come into their dressing room, which was just at the back of where we were doing the presser, and they were all celebrating, hey, 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 and chanting and stuff, while Jesper was talking. And you could tell it was awkward because it's like disrespectful, but they don't know what's going on. So they're not doing it to be disrespectful. They're just happy. They've just won a cup. And Jesper says, totally deadpan, probably not my players. Just deadpan.
He does have a sense of humor.
Yeah, he's really good. I got a chance just before I was leaving the stadium. I actually bumped into him as he was getting on the bus. So we had a nice little moment. We had a chat. Thanked him for everything he's done this year for the club, everything, how accommodating he's been with us and everything as well. So it was nice to kind of just get him one-on-one for that. The problem, and I'm using that in inverted commas now for the club, is how do you improve on the best season ever? Exactly.
Yeah.
And I was chatting to Jesper before the game, kind of about that very fact. Because it's like we went over all the key stats, all the records broken in last week's show, and a few folk had when you put it like that, it's just mind-blowing what they've done. And like Jesper was honest, he was like, it's hard to better what we've done this year, but that's what we have to aim to do. And that's the attitude to have. It's like, yeah, we've done this. We can be better. We can finish first. We can win the Supporters' Shield. He didn't specify those specific goals. I'm just kind of saying that.
Yeah.
So Jesper has set the bar so high after his first season in charge of the Whitecaps. So the Whitecaps had end of season media availability with Jesper and Axel up at UBC on Monday afternoon. So I put the question to Jesper, looking ahead to the future, the next steps for the club, how do they get there? Here's what he had to tell me. Next steps is always what we kind of talk about when we have these end of season things, but you've set the bar so high in your first season now. How do you take that next step, which is obviously to win these cup finals? Do you feel you need to strengthen the squad, to bring extra additions in? Are you pretty much happy with what you have just now?
You know, we're now sending a group on vacation. It will be the same players, a lot of them coming back, but it will not be the same group. A lot has happened throughout the season. We also need new dynamics. And also the way this league works. We know how it works with the salary cap and stuff, and we have to make adjustments. We will continue working every day on getting better. And I'm happy that we have been able to set the bar high. I believe we will be a better team next season. But it doesn't mean that we'll get even better results. You also need a little bit of things going your way in the decisive moments in games. But I have the strong belief that players now, when we meet they will have a good. We are not starting over. We are starting from a very high foundation, and we will be ready to push it. Everybody's motivated. Everybody is know how we work and how we would like to go forward, and it's not going to be difficult for us to start out from a better starting point than last year, and I think it's been quite easy to see that the players have responded well to the way we play and they got a better understanding of it, and that we actually look stronger and stronger. We played 3 finals this year. The first one was not close because we were not that close to Cruz Azul in Mexico. There was circumstances that was difficult in that one. The second one, we were much better, and it was not close because we were the much better team. And the third one, that was, decided in margins. And that's the one I focus most on. Right, that's where we have to learn how do we tip those margins. And sometimes you don't know what it actually needs because it could have. We're talking about hitting the post and stuff. But we'll definitely look into how do we get to become even better the way we would like to play, and how do we become a better team. also how do we recruit and scout for players that fit to the way we want to do things going forward, and then we have to see.
He's the gaffer. You can't try it on with him. He's the gaffer. Even when he's on a limb. He's the gaffer. When his back's against the wall, has the answer to it all.
Jesper Sorensen there. It's talking about next steps, and yeah, a very, very hard season to try and follow, really. But follow it they must, follow it they want to do, and they want to be even better and take those next steps in the process. Love everything he said in his answer there. Another thing to look at as well is, barring Game 3 in the Best of 3 Dallas series that didn't need to be played, the Whitecaps played in every single match that was available for them to play in 2025.
Mm-hmm. Was it 51? Is that the total?
53.
53, okay.
So every game in the Canadian Championship they played in, they won it. Every game in the Champions Cup, played in, lost the final. Every MLS game, played in, lost the final. That is, like, incredible. Like, even Miami can't say that because they didn't get to the US Open Cup final. Actually, I'm not sure they were in the US Open Cup. I say that. Maybe Miami can say that because they did.
No,
they didn't, because we beat them in Champions Cup. Yeah, so Miami can't even say that. I'm very tired. My brain is not functioning. I've had to write a lot of these notes down just to jog my memory as we're doing this, because I'm not going to remember this over 3 hours for a podcast.
It was one of my disappointments that we didn't get to see the sore loser Miami team. That was one of the things I was like, because I thought the Whitecaps were going to be able to pull off the victory in this game, and I was really looking forward to seeing how it was going to be handled.
Oh, well, it was a feisty game.
Yeah.
From start to finish, and yeah, that would have been interesting at the end. Full credit though to Miami. They gave a guard of honour for the Whitecaps as they went to get the medals. And I don't know what was shown on TV, but like Jesper was at the back. He shook every single Miami player's hand and went up to Busquets at the end and gave him a hug and was saying stuff to Busquets, and Busquets was saying stuff back to him. And you know, likely what it would have been is just, you're a legend, you've had a great career.
Yeah, congrats.
Fafa Pico was hugging every Whitecaps player as well, which was, I mean, it's nice for Fafa. So, I mean, they were very respectful, and the fans were very respectful as well. They were like applauding the Whitecaps as they went up for the medals, and it's always easier when your team's won to do that. But it was a good atmosphere. There wasn't really any hostility in the stadium between the fans, just the usual in-game stuff, but there was tailgating beforehand and everything like that as well.
I heard that there were some people who I guess through scalpers or whatever, bought, like Miami fans who bought tickets in the away end.
Yes, you see it from one of the camera angles on the Whitecaps goal, and there's just some pink jerseys and the Whitecaps.
Oh, I didn't see those. I just heard from people that there was, like, I saw Brendan post about it. That's saying, like, and he said at first, like, the Miami staff was like escorting them to their seats, and they had to be told, like, these people can't be here. But I didn't notice the pink that you're referencing.
But the weird thing was, like, there was seats at the back that were empty, so I don't know if fans had been moved out of those seats then, but I don't know where they were going to go because the stadium was packed. But it was like 2.5 sections, because in the third section in, it was the bottom half, and then there was Miami fans behind that, which is always a recipe for disaster. East Fife went to Ibrox to play Rangers in the Cup once, and we were in the bottom of a 2-tier stand, so we were getting all this shit thrown at us from above. Yeah, it's never a good thing to have.
Having been to a number of Mexico games, you do not want to be lower.
No. Yeah, the away fans, if it's a 2-tier thing, the away fans should always be above. Yeah. Then we can throw the stuff at the folk. But, yeah, I mean, the Whitecaps, they reached 3 finals, they won 1, and if you're talking next steps, there's no getting away from the fact that next step is they've now got to win one of these big finals.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, and I think for you and I, they're one of the biggest. I'm joking. I'm totally joking.
I know, Skitty Cup.
But in all seriousness, you and I were talking about how massive and how disappointing that last game of the season loss to Dallas was.
Yeah.
Because I think if the Whitecaps get to play that game at home, now you of course correctly mentioned their path would have been different.
Yeah.
The teams they played and the order they played them in, whatever, could have been drastically different, or would have been different at least.
But you'd have fancied.
You would have way fancied them to play on that turf against Miami and be able to, and the draw on all the energy from the fans, and what would have been absolutely been a sold out stadium.
Oh yeah.
Both probably against San Diego and then against Miami. You would,
and on a shit pitch too, which would help.
Well, a pitch they're so accustomed to. I would not have seen them losing in that way. So I think that's like, in terms of the league, that's one of the things that they'll be working towards. And whether they say it, publicly, or it's just an internal discussion, that's going to be part of their, like, hey, what if we had won that? And that game was so unfortunate with the early red card and the battling performance of 10 men. And
I mean, they came so close, and I mean, that's what football is. It's what ifs. It always is. It's like, in a normal league where there's not playoffs, you're like, oh, if they just won that game, we could have won the championship. So, I mean, you've always got those moments. Every team does.
Totally.
But there's no getting away. That's a massive one. And there's other games this season you can look back at as well. Yeah. It's like, could have done that. But that one, there's no question. That was a season changing.
Yeah.
Moment.
Or definitely influential. The CONCACAF Champions Cup, though, that was based on how you performed in the previous rounds, right? So
so the final, it was based on points that you got. So it was like a separate league that was running that I didn't know about the semi-final stage.
So things like number of goals,
3 points for a win, and then a point for a draw, and then goals get taken in, goal difference gets taken into account and stuff as well. So again, the Whitecaps were 10 minutes away from hosting that Champions Cup final.
Yeah. Now that one, I could have seen them losing a BC place to that Cruz.
Yeah, I mean that. But
I don't think
that
it's a
one. Cruz Azul were so better prepared for that game.
Yeah,
they tactically scouted what they needed to do to take the Whitecaps out of the equation. But again, home field advantage, not the Mexican fans, not the heat, not the altitude, not a grass pitch. All those things are kind of levelers as well. So we can play it out on Football Manager or something and see how things might have gone if we'd done that. Let's get into the game.
Yeah.
So for full disclosure, I mentioned in last week's show that at half-time of the San Diego game, when it was 3-0, I booked my trip down to Fort Lauderdale, booked my flight, and took the risk that the Whitecaps were going to comfortably see it out, and they did in the end, so it wasn't really a risk. But I never actually took those flights. I mean, it was still the intention, but on Monday, after we'd done the podcast record, Whitecaps offered me the chance to fly down on the team charter on Wednesday. A couple of media on that flight, myself, a couple of people from Global TV, a couple of people on behalf of TSN. So very privileged to get that opportunity. Very special as well to fly down with the players and the management team and the staff just for such a big game. So just want to give a big thanks to the Whitecaps for making that possible. Didn't have to think twice about the offer, so cancelled my flights, paid a couple of $100 to do so, but very much worth it. Fantastic, great experience, and just one of the many things that made the trip to Fort Lauderdale for the MLS Cup so special. But let's get to the game. Waffled on here. Miami are the 2025 MLS champs, but the Whitecaps can at least take some solace from the fact I feel they were the better team in the final.
Yeah, I mean, like at halftime, I think I told you, like I think it was you who was talking about this, but the XG was crazy, right? Like I think it was like doubles, like 1 point, kind of like 1.2 or 1.11, 1.14 to like
But all the
0.6.
the end stats were
Yeah,
Whitecaps had more shots. They had double the passes.
yeah.
They bossed possession. They dominated so many of the key aspects of the game. But the most important stat is the scoreline, and that was Miami.
Yeah, because even in that first half, like, yeah, Miami created nothing really except for the one across the box
Yeah.
that fortunately finds its way to the back of the net.
I mean, I would argue as well, Messi only did 3 real things in the game, but each of the things
They
of
set
his
up a goal.
involvement set up a goal. Yeah.
Yeah, he was involved. Yeah, he was
Yeah.
involved off the goal. That move was quite nice in the build up to the first goal.
Oh, I hadn't fully appreciated it. I watched the goals back on the TSN coverage when I got home tonight. And when I saw the setup for
Yeah.
that, I was like, oh, I missed that live.
Yeah.
That was special.
They kept on showing
He's a
it.
special player.
They kept on showing it over and over again on the broadcast. But yeah, it was quite beautiful. He dinks the ball over to who was it? Oh, I think it was his buddy
Allende.
DePaul. No, DePaul.
And DePaul,
DePaul
DePaul
plays
sent
it
it up
through to
to
Allende.
Allende. Yeah, I mean, Messi, that is why he's the greatest player. It's like he can be quiet. And it's like what we've said about Thomas Muller for us. He's had very quiet games, but then all of a sudden he just conjures up that moment of magic. And if you do look at this as a battle between Messi and Muller, Messi came up with the crucial impact that Muller just couldn't get on the other side.
Well, I mean, I know you want to get to it later, but I mean, Thomas does create the best chance that really needed to be scored in that first half. Yeah, it was the first.
The Sabi one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like that was, you know,
The perfect headed to the back post
yeah.
for him.
exactly.
He had to take that earlier. He had to hit it before it bounced. He had to run on and meet it, and it was in the back of the net.
I think it was BPW on the halftime or whatever kept on saying, "Oh, he's got to put that ball into the ground," and there's no way the keeper gets to it. Instead, he puts it straight, like directly, side puts it straight and straight.
Yeah, that or like just run inside and meet it just before it even bounces to get to him. But yeah, I mean, the Whitecaps could and should have been ahead by about the midway point of the second half, but they weren't, and then they were undone by 2 wonderful assists from Messi, 2 clinical finishes. And to paraphrase Thomas just post-game, the Whitecaps beat themselves.
Yeah.
And when teams make mistakes, good teams and great players punish those, and that's exactly what Miami did.
Yeah, I mean, Messi, you could tell that he wanted to have revenge on Kubas.
Yes.
And there was
I would say Kubas handled him so well for 70 minutes. And then
but I mean,
71st.
yeah, that second goal where he steals the ball from him. You could, and right before that, I think it was right before that on the broadcast, you could see them having a little discussion. It seemed calm, but you don't know. I mean, we've heard...
there was a couple of times during the game, probably off camera. Yes. Although there were so many cameras, I'm sure it would have been picked up by some of them. But they were having a lot of discussions.
Right before that, you could tell the banter was going back and forth. They both looked calm and measured and whatever, but you could tell they were like, I think he was, kind of like, just wait, it's coming, kind of like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then for Kubas, again, in a final, he, again, plays really well for so much of it and was obviously, the man of the match, I think, for me in the semifinal, or the Western Conference final.
He was my man of the match up to that 71st minute, to be honest.
Yeah, you did text me that too. Yes. But it's so unfortunate that he has that moment in a final after what happened against Cruz Azul. Right? I feel so bad for him.
Well, I've seen some fans have piled on him, and it's like, give your heads a shake. He's tremendous. His position is the one that gets put under pressure, and defensive midfielders make mistakes.
And he's going to be starting for Paraguay against the U.S. in the World Cup, like when the World Cup kicks off, right? Like this is a incredibly talented player, and it was just an unfortunate decision to turn that way and to turn right into kind of the Messi who's pressing.
He just hit, I don't know if he just didn't get a shout because Berhalter played the ball to him, and then he had Berhalter as an option. I can't remember who was in front of him. There was an option to his left. But I think he was wanting the option to the left to be pushed further forward, which might have been Pupa. But of course, he's just come on, so he's just kind of getting the feel for the game. So because that wasn't there, I don't think he wanted to play it to the player in front because Messi was probably going to get that pass. So that's why he turns around. And you've got to just think split second, and Messi just pounced on it. I mean, we'll come to the finish when we go through the goals, but I felt for Kubas. I thought he'd been outstanding, and any fan that is like giving him abuse for that, it's like, give your head a shake. I mean, it's obviously disappointing, it's heartbreaking, but this is a season to be proud of. The starting lineups were as expected. Allende made it for Miami. But he had been a doubt because he had a fever on Thursday and missed training.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Which sent all the Miami fans into a panic. But then he was back on Friday. Mascherano said he was going to start, and he did start. I mean, I think there's a case to make as well that Allende was the MVP of the game. But obviously, I think if Messi gets 2 assists in a game, arguably 3 as well. But I don't think he got the full credit for the assist.
There's no assist for an own
goal. Yeah,
and he would have been the second assist anyway. So I mean, it kind of makes sense. But Vancouver controlled the ball from the start, but they were looking susceptible in the counter. They got an early warning 3 minutes in. Allende was played in, he fired over. Yes.
And then 8th minute, the opening goal. We talked about Messi's sublime pass to DePaul. DePaul gets Allende in, and Herrera Campos tracking back, and it's just unfortunate. He just runs in as the cross comes in, hits off his leg, past Takaoka, who's wrong-footed.
Yeah, but I mean, you have to cut that pass out because otherwise it's going to be a tap-in.
Oh, yeah. So he had to go for it.
Yeah, he had to do something, and it took an unfortunate bounce. Yeah, and
he was so adamant it was offside that he had me convinced, and then I saw the replay. I was like, no.
And if you're a Whitecaps fan, really, this final is a series of unfortunate bounces.
Yep. Yeah. 3.
Yeah.
All going against them. 2 of them leading to goals, 1 of them not. But I mean, at this stage, like, the Whitecaps were controlling the ball and moving it and doing everything that they wanted. Miami seemed happy to let them do that because the Whitecaps weren't creating. They were having trouble finding space in the final third on the pitch. And I just felt they needed to get the ball out more onto the right wing to Sabi and to Campo. And there was times both of them were in space out there and the ball just wasn't coming over to them. And when they were attacking up there, they were having some success.
But I think, Mike, part of that is down to the fact that, and this was a lot of people, one of the major complaints I saw from a number of people post-match was, and you and I actually talked about it as well, is Miami intentionally kind of didn't allow the Whitecaps to get a real flow to the game.
Yeah.
They kept on having these, choppy, it was a choppy game with all these little fouls, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was cursing Drew Fisher for just stopping the game so much because it was affecting our flow. But that's exactly what Miami wanted to do.
Yeah,
and I mean, the cards came out early. It was chippy. DePaul, for all his talent, he's one of those South American players that goes down so much, looking for everything. And Fisher wasn't buying it. So at least that was good to see. Jesper afterwards didn't have any complaints about the officiating. He thought it was a well-refereed game. But the fouls on both sides were stupid. They were chippy. It just stopped everything. My favourite booking, though, was the uncharacteristic Brian White.
Yes.
It was Falcon it was on, wasn't it? He just pushes him away and just
Yeah. It was crazy because it was so early in the game, and it was just like obviously going to be called as a it was obviously going to be given as a card, that it just felt so like strange that he would choose that moment to do that.
I've never seen Brian react like that. There was
No.
an earlier incident as well that I was really. It was, I think, in the first 5 minutes, Sabi got into, I think, with Falcon again, and Sabi did a little back kick into the shins of Falcon, who, to his credit, didn't go down. Because if he had, I think that might have been a VAR review and a red card.
I'll say this about Falcone. All the times I've seen him play for Miami, I do not rate him at all,
No?
but he actually played a really good game.
I thought he and Allen were the weak points,
Yes,
and
absolutely.
they had to try and get through the middle. I mean, Allen, for a young lad, he had a good game as well. This was one of the 3 games that we've played against Miami. This was Falcon's best game.
Yeah, they sheltered them as best they could, but I mean, for Falcone, one of the reasons why I thought it was the best time I've seen him play is it wasn't just simply his defensive play. There's a couple of times where he just said, "Okay, I'm gonna go join this attack," and kind of made runs through the middle and whatnot. But yeah,
The Whitecaps did finally find a rhythm. They created some chances. White had a couple of headers. Mueller had a header as well. But the best chance, as you talked about, was Sabi's, that was saved at close range from Rios Novo. So it was a good end to the first half. No changes, though, by either side at halftime. Were you surprised by that? We were in the press box because we thought with Ocampo having a booking, it might be safe to take him off, move Matty to the right, and bring Tate Johnson on.
well, I have thoughts on Tate Johnson later in the game that I text you about that we'll talk about.
Yeah.
Which I think really did factor in kind of the end phase of the game.
True. But Whitecaps came out with a fire under them in the second half, and I truly felt that we were going to be in for a repeat of the second half shock and awe from back in May. It just felt that.
Oh no, I think again, text you. I was like, okay, they can do it in this half. It's still their game.
There was one scare in the 56th minute where Messi had a free header that went wide when the Caps were just kind of caught at the back.
Yeah, but I think that was partly due to the Whitecaps cover, and there was I can't remember which defender was kind of on the line, and Messi I think felt I got to perfectly place this, and he kind of just missed it. But yeah, that was one of their closer calls.
Yeah, a second goal there, and it was game over. But then, the moment we were waiting for. However the game was to finish, whatever the end result was going to be, the one thing I very much hoped for was that the travelling blue and white faithful would get something to celebrate and cheer about on the pitch. Ideally a victory, but at the very least a goal, and they got it on the hour mark. They got that moment. They got their MLS Cup moment to go crazy. The beers were flying. Everyone was going wild. Great goal. Sabi, who was starting to really find his rhythm in the second half, cuts inside, plays the ball with White. Now, Brian White, back to goal, holds it up so well. He's got 2 Miami players around him. Somehow, with their marking, they just leave Ali Ahmed wide open. Brian touches it out. Not the best finish. Keeper should have saved it. But in off the post, 1-1.
Yeah, I think the Whitecaps caught them in transition and caught them out a little bit, and the defenders had to cheat over, and that the overload or whatever created put Ali into space, and it was a wonderful buildup to the goal.
Mm-hmm.
And like in the Western Conference semifinal, I want to take nothing away from like the Whitecaps goal and whatever, but it's not a good shot. Like
No,
I long
ultimately
for,
it is because it ended up in the back of the net. But yeah,
the quality of the shot. Like Ali is very fortunate; it ends up in the back of the net. That shot should be parried around the post. It should never find its way into the net. But and I say that again. Some people are like, "Oh, why are you piling on Ali?" Like, look, I long for what's best for him. I would want him to. I mean, he has the opportunity to play a massive role for Canada at this upcoming World Cup, whether he's starting, whether he's a substitute performer off the bench. He has desires. We know this. He has desires to go and play in Europe, and even has had been linked to clubs in Germany, which is the league I watched the second most after the CPL. Like I long for him to get better. I long for him to have those type of opportunities and to excel, and for his football career to go as well as possible, and for him to make as much money as possible. But this is one of the parts of his game that really needs to improve. Is his finishing.
Well, to put it into perspective, that was his first goal in MLS play this year.
Yeah, which is shocking.
I mean, he's had lots of assists. He's scored in the other competitions, but it was something that was so glaring. Like a couple of weeks back, when we were looking at, if one more Whitecaps player scores in the regular season, they'll have set a record for the most individual players. And I was looking to see, who hasn't scored? And then standing out there, Ranko was one as well, which was a surprise, was Ali. And I was like, wow. And then Ralph Priso hadn't, and then he gets one in the playoffs.
In Dallas. But yeah, I mean, his dribbling can at times is next level, and he brings so much to the side in his creative abilities. Even though I criticized his cross in the last match, which some people reached out to me and said, it was a horrible cross. So I felt a little bit better about that, but or sorry, less than ideal cross. But no, he just has so much potential. You just hope that he can reach that, and he's not young, but he's also not old. So you hope that there is that ability for him to, in this off season, where he has downtime, and in the build up next year in preseason, or whatever's going to happen with him, you hope that he's able to just continue to grow as a finisher. Because if he does, then that opens those doors more wide to places like to clubs in Europe, to clubs in the Bundesliga, second Bundesliga, and I think makes him more of gives Jesse Marsh an even larger headache when he's making that decisions about the decisions regarding who's going to play, who's going to start, all that kind of stuff, who's going to get minutes leading up to and in the 2026 World Cup.
I mean, I think Ali, if he stays till the World Cup, has even half a season or a whole season playing with Thomas Muller, just honing his trade, get the World Cup, get that performance. I think that will be the best thing for him.
It's not an apples to apples comparison, but in this first, and there's now things have developed in a certain way, but you look at Jonathan David, right? He gets a massive move for him, massive move in his career, great for his pocketbook, great for the experience and the opportunity to play at a what most would regard as a bigger league, a bigger club, all that kind of stuff, more historic club. And it's not been easy these first 4 months or whatever. It's not been easy. Now his main competition is out for a month and a half at least, so he's gonna be able to get those minutes and find his flow and find his form. But Ali, I just worry if he goes to any European side mid-season in January, he's going to have to displace someone for a spot. He's going to have to be in top form.
You've got to be better than what they've got.
Yeah, so he might have to struggle. And how does that hurt him for the World Cup? I agree with you. I think the best thing, we said this how many months ago, 2, 3, 4 months ago or whatever, in the summer transfer window. Yeah,
because it was end of August, start of September, roughly.
Was it Schalke interest, right? Yeah. So I think it would be best for him. I think it would be obviously good for the Whitecaps if he's willing to at least play in Vancouver to the World Cup. I think that would be helpful for everyone. And I don't say that as someone who wants to stall his progress. I just think for that simple fact of playing and being surrounded by people in an environment a league it would be so much better for him just for that season. But
I think he is inclined to do that now, though, from stuff that I've heard, that he is thinking he'll stay.
Oh, that's good. You just hope he doesn't get tempted by someone opening their checkbook and starting to write down a really big number.
I mean, it would be hard because he's such a family guy as well, and it would look after his family who have been so supportive and done so much for him. It's tough for a young lad to try and make that decision. You've got to just weigh everything up. But yeah, Ali, the hero. And funnily enough, I had said when I did a Miami podcast on Thursday, we were talking about, everyone's going to be talking about Messi and Mueller. I went, would not be surprised if at the end of this, the Whitecaps player we're talking about, I said was somebody like Ali Ahmed or Emmanuel Sabi. And funnily enough, that is the two players that we are talking about. Because after that goal in the 60th minute, it really did feel like May all over again.
Yeah.
Because it looked like it was going to be 2-2 for the Whitecaps. 62nd minute, an incredible triple post from Emmanuel Sabi. The woodwork gods giveth against LAFC, taketh away against Miami. I think we maybe our luck ran out in that LAFC game. We got that crazy one, and now it's a crazy one that went against us. Great run by Sabi. Gets the ball maybe 10 yards in the Miami half, middle of the park, just runs past the marker, gets into the box, cuts inside past two defenders, and you thought, is he going to be able to get the shot off? He does. And you watch it back and he does everything right.
Off the inside of one post,
Yep.
off the inside of the other post, and then he follows through and gets another chance that goes off the outside of the second post.
Falcone, the player that's back, a little hesitation from Falcone on the rebound, kind of nearly let Sabi slip in, and it's like, was that the moment, we wondered, and it was. I mean, it was the last real chance that the Whitecaps had, to be honest.
Yeah, again, to play devil's advocate a little bit, and I don't know if the outcome would have been any different or, I guess, any better, but as he makes that run, I think his head's down a little bit, because if his head's up a little bit more, he might choose to see Thomas Muller, who's standing in not miles of space, but in space, and if he lays it off and Muller first times it, I think there's a chance that is that equalizing goal that they were looking for. But that's, if you go back and watch it, you can see Thomas is standing there.
I never noticed that.
He's waiting for it. And then he sees a shot, and I think he's almost like, it's going in, or whatever. From the one angle, you can see him in the background. But again, that's
there's a shot from behind the goal where the Whitecaps fans' hands are up, and they're like,
yeah, that's a sad one. But again, not to sound overly critical, because it is an incredible run. It is a great shot, and it is so. It's almost like just unbelievable that a sequence that happens in this game is so similar to a sequence.
I know.
And because they were both so, in the moments, they were so unbelievable.
Well, I don't know if it was after the Ali goal. It definitely was a bit, but definitely after the Sabi goal, the stadium went so quiet from the Miami fans, because I think they were like, this is...
When you say Sabi goal, you mean the Sabi...
Sabi. No goal. I'm willing it in. Rewriting history. But no, the stadium went so quiet, and you could hear the Whitecaps fans loud. They were the ones making all the noise.
That was the one thing. I know stadiums are weird, because I heard from some people in the section saying, we can't hear anyone else. It's very quiet in the stadium in general, whatever. But, the broadcast mix are always unique, right?
Yeah.
And I think I said to you, and I don't know if I just didn't have my volume up enough or whatever, but it wasn't until the second half where we could really hear the Whitecaps fans. Again,
maybe
other
they
people
tweaked that. You could in the stadium. You definitely could hear.
That's the more important thing. But on the broadcast, I didn't really notice them until I think it was before the goal. But it was just like, and Kirk and I were like, you hear it? And they're like, yeah, you hear it? Yeah, there they are. Like, okay, we can hear them going, because I knew they were going. I knew I knew, Walter was on the drum and Peter was leading, and I knew stuff was happening.
Well, they were going for about an hour beforehand, and I was like, pace yourself, guys, it's hot.
Maybe that's what I was hearing in terms of there was no pregame support for Miami, vocal support, maybe, but
no, it's like, and at halftime as well, the stand opposite the dugouts and the press box, everyone just cleared out.
Well, they wanted to get out of the sun, Michael.
There was that. At least the Whitecaps fans were kind of more in the shady bit, which seemed better. But it was horrible out.
And just before, so we don't forget at the end of the match here, I know you said it earlier, kudos to the many, many traveling fans, family, friends who were there. It's always difficult to lose any football match, let alone a final. But I think it just it shows kind of where the culture is at for the club. It shows how much this meant to so many people, and how many people who are both, because it was a very mixed crowd of like incredibly long time supporters and some people who are newer who have kind of just been swept up in things, you know, 7 days or 6 days earlier, booked flights and made, got their accommodations sorted out, and were able to get a hold of those tickets. And yeah, it was just really great to see that many people, just like it was great to see the hundreds at whatever, 800, whatever was it 800 in Mexico City, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah, like these are great signs for the club, and those experiences that those fans had there, as partially painful as they were, are just one of those things that just help the culture grow, help foster the long-term health of the supporter culture in Vancouver around the Whitecaps. And so yeah, kudos to everyone who traveled, and as painful as it was, I hope you were able to enjoy the moments that were there.
Well, one of our longtime listeners, friend of the show, Noe, she shared on her Instagram of her on the beach, and she's like, crazy to think 6 days ago this trip wasn't even booked.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, it's just everything's just come together so quick, which is difficult in North America with the stuff. But that Sabi chance, massive turning point. The Whitecaps were clearly in the ascendancy at that point. They were running rampant. Miami they weren't creating. They were struggling to even get the ball, keep the ball. But it did turn out to be the last great chance that the Caps had. Substitution was made. Priso. Now, I don't know what was said in the broadcast, but Priso, it felt he'd stretched to get the ball and knock it away from Messi a couple of minutes before. And I don't know if that tweaked something, because he then went off really soon after.
Yeah, I can't remember what they said around this, but it was clear that, yeah, he was not in a good spot, and that it looked like he was going to have to come off. My biggest thing with this, Michael, is it's hard to recall many significant moments in the season where I feel like Jesper's maybe made the wrong call in a situation. I think this is one. I think you have to bring on Tate, and you have to shift over Laborda. I think Laborda's quicker.
That's what we were all expecting.
Yeah, I think Laborda's quicker, and they're all just way more familiar of playing together.
Well, that's it as well. Like Pupa. Now, what I will say is, I think Jodrick Pupa, of the two guys that we signed, is the better of the two.
Oh, he's definitely quicker.
Big body. He's quicker.
He's good with the cards.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That is one of the moments of the season. But like, he's played a couple of minutes, and you're all of a sudden throwing him in beside Tristan. But I would say, in the build-up to the last two games, because Tristan obviously wasn't playing in San Diego, but they've done a lot of work together at training on the pitch. So they've got that. And in the build-up to this, which was when I went, I think, on Tuesday, I was like, oh, Pupa and Blackman are like doing it. They were basically Busquets with a long ball over the top, which is something that they had been very successful with. They were practicing what I'm assuming was that, and it was Blackman and Pupa that were doing those drills. So they'd had that at least.
Well, it's good. It's good to hear some background on the training, but I just still think for the experiences that the four, when you have Johnson and Laborda, Blackman, and Ocampo together, it seems like a better option, especially because I think Laborda is faster than Pupa. Like and you knew that if Miami's only other way to extend their lead in this game is going to be on the break, and it's going to involve a quick moment, and really, I don't know there's too much Pupa could have done differently. Maybe stepped up a little bit more, but on the third goal. But yeah, you do wonder, okay, what if Maddie's there?
Well, you also have to say, like, he hasn't played much football either.
So form. Maddie's in much better form.
Yeah, match fitness up at the game levels. Tate as well, who was outstanding.
He showed, like, last game, he hadn't played for a few games or whatever, slid right into the starting 11 and was part of an incredibly quality performance from the back line.
I was a bit baffled by it, But also with Ali going off at that point, because he seemed to be the guy that was causing some problems out in that left. Now, I don't know if there was maybe a knock or if it was just planned, but I mean, we'll cover another winger in a sec as well. But I mean, Sabi's miss, if we call it a miss, big turning point. But the other one, which was the kind of dagger into the Whitecaps, 71st minute, Miami retake the lead. We won't delve too much into it. We've already talked about it, but it was just such a tough one to give out. When I watch it back, and I'm maybe clutching at straws here, it does look like DePaul's knee might be just ahead of Blackman. And you can score with a knee, but there's not the lines. So was there a definitive camera angle for that?
I'll just, Your Honor, I'll just restate my objection to MLS's non-use of the technology that allows you to use the lines as unacceptable due to non-financial limitations.
Because I was almost in line with it. And when it went in, the Whitecaps maybe were like, oh, and I was like, no, it's offside. I was totally confident it was offside right away. Then I watched the replay back, I was like, oh, no, he's not. But then when I watched it tonight, I was like, oh, you know what, that is so tight. It depends, like the release of the ball, it's that split second of the knee just behind, just forward. So I guess it depends when you freeze it, me compared to them with all their technology. But either way, DePaul times that run so well.
Yeah.
And he's a quality player, he's a quality finisher. And he's going to be a threat in MLS next year again as well. And
so can we talk about, because this is also one of the talking points in the post game. So you make a point about, okay, maybe with better technology the goal's ruled out for offside, and I think you mentioned this kind of earlier though. This is one point where I guess the two complaints I heard after the game, or I felt I heard most after the game, were they had the refs on their sides and they played dirty, and we played the better football, they played dirty, and that's the only reason they won. Oh, and third, of course, they spend way more money. So just talking about
I would agree with the last one.
Yeah.
I mean, we were quite dirty as well.
Well, we can talk about the money later, but I think you can't. I don't think the officials. I know there were a couple times. Oh, I guess the only one with the officials. I thought, okay, Rodriguez. Was it Rodriguez, the central midfielder, number 11? I thought, okay, there was a couple times where he was on a yellow, and some of his challenges, some of his tackles were, questionable, but not like dead certain yellow card, the second yellows. But like you said earlier, I thought Drew Fisher officiated a great game, and I thought people cannot. The embellishment that's in football, you can't blame the officials.
No.
All you can blame is, number one, in my opinion, you can blame FIFA as the governors of the game and their lack of a willingness to stamp out, something that entered the game through a cultural understanding of how to play the game that has kind of taken over the world game in general. And so, yeah, it lies at FIFA. And then you could say secondarily, I guess, with MLS as a league, if they really wanted to crack down on it, they could. But you can't blame Drew Fisher, right?
No.
For any of that. I thought the game was really well officiated. And I thought, yeah, like you said, I thought the chippiness, the choppiness to play, I think was, more on the Miami side, partly because of score effect and just them knowing that they needed to break up the Whitecaps' rhythm. But nothing was. It was, to me, it was a really great final. It wasn't like the highest quality, tactically and technically, but it was very entertaining and very engaging.
Yeah.
But I just think fans after the game, some of them, I know they're just hurt and they're sad and they're disappointed, but I don't think those are two things that you can complain about in this game.
The Whitecaps lost because they didn't take the chances they had.
Yes.
Miami did. There
Absolutely.
were some moments of brilliance from Messi. Mm-hmm. There was some clinical finishing.
Yep.
And the quality and display that Miami's got, yes, they've spent money. Money gets you quality. That's just how it is in the world game.
And the fortune that's in any football match of the own goal and the triple post.
Yeah. Sometimes it goes for you. LAFC. I mean, look at the second goal against San Diego. Elements of fortune in that as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, you can't look at that. I won't say the better team won, because I still think the Whitecaps played better overall, but the better finishing, more clinical team certainly won.
That's fair, yeah.
I mean, after it was 2-1, the Whitecaps, like Miami as well, their game management was superb. They shut that game down.
Yeah, that's when I remember you messaged. She's like, I was just like, oh, I don't think it's over or something. And you were like, Miami's game management is going to kick up into high gear and they're going to see it out.
Yeah, they know how to disrupt it, how to stop it. The balls weren't coming in as quick, and it's what experienced players and teams do. It's like, you know how to see out a game when you're winners, and that's what these players have been their life, a lot of them.
So, and then maybe a second decision from Jesper in the game, which I know you mentioned to me, I think as it was going on, was the lack of an earlier introduction of Jaden Nelson.
Yeah, this is the other thing that baffles me. See, I was wanting to ask Jesper this after the game, but it's like, that wasn't the time to ask it, because he's just lost the final, so he's not.
Yeah.
So I might ask him either on record or just off record when we do the end of season stuff on Monday. But I am curious why, like, he was stripped before the 90 minutes, so he had to wait a couple of minutes to come on.
Yeah.
He came on, I think, 2 minutes into stoppage time. It was a game that you're losing, and it's crying out that a tired defence needs somebody of Jaden's incredible speed to run at them. And I thought, oh, maybe this is set up for Jaden came in, first game of the MLS season against Portland, ran riot. Is he going to come on in the last game of the season and do the same?
Yeah.
But he got 5 minutes on the pitch. And I don't know if that's testament as to him falling down the pecking order a bit at the club.
I was going to say, you feel it was like, because I would agree with you. But I'm just wondering, did Jesper just see he was not the right fit for this match, or the matchup against either the fullbacks? Although the one, I think, when did Fry go? I can't remember what minute Fry went out of the game because of his hamstring or whatever. But I could see him maybe not wanting him against Jordi Alba. But on the other side, I thought he would have been great down the left-hand side. But does he just not rate him? Was there something else? Was it training? Was there another reason? But that I hope I look forward to hearing you get an answer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm genuinely I'm curious, because it just felt it was something different. I don't know if part of it is if Gold and Mueller are on the pitch at the same time, if it doesn't allow you to have someone like Nelson come on.
Yeah. That is a valid approach to the tactical setup at the moment.
But that's the problem now going forward, is how you get those two on the pitch at the same time, because you have to feel it's going to be Goldie that's going to be on that left side.
Because Sabi was on at that time, right? Yeah, Sabi.
I think he might have been. Actually, did he go off for Nelson?
Oh yeah, he must have. He
must have. Because who else? Someone else came on late as well. But anyway.
Yeah.
But 6 minutes into stoppage time, it was fully game over. Jordi Alba, in his last game, gets his last goal contribution. Great ball forward. And the sublime flick from Messi to play in Allende. It was brilliant. And Pupa's just chasing shadows by that point. And Allende sets the record, the 9th goal of the playoffs. And he's been on fire, outstanding in the postseason. I thought it was quiet for most of this game, but again, you come up with a couple of moments of magic and no one remembers that aspect of it. They just remember what else you've done.
Yeah, I mean, he's responsible for creating the first goal. He scores the goal that puts the nail in the coffin. He sets this record. It's really, really impressive. Again, I would say if Laborda's in that spot, I think he takes him out. I think he catches him and takes him out. Or
Pupa is fast though, because remember he can also play left back. So
yeah, but I think Laborda's a little bit quicker and more match fit. And yeah, I think he catches him, either defends him or just takes him out and gets sent off. But yeah, I don't think he gets by him like that. But
it was a good finish again as well.
Oh yeah,
I mean 2-1 would have, in some ways 2-1 would have been worse, because I do feel like I left the stadium feeling what could have been.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt that was our chance, and we really had a great opportunity to win that. We went toe-to-toe with them, and 3-1 flatters them a little bit. Full credit, though, to Miami. I've got to say that as well. They found their stride after the Leagues Cup debacle. It's the end of an era. They're losing Busquets, they're losing Alba, but all accounts Suarez is going back to Nacional in Uruguay. So it's a rebuild, but you know that they can go and spend and rebuild, and they've just taken a lot of salary off their books as well. So that might not be great for the league in terms of them being dominant. Final match at Chase Stadium 2. I quite like Chase.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I've just heard people just express how poor they think it is.
I like it because you're so close to the action in the stands. And some of the sight lines from the corners, it's maybe like the press box facilities are cramped as hell, but that's not most people's concern.
I haven't even looked at any of the images of the new place that they're opening next year. But
I haven't either. It's right by the airport, so folk that flew into Miami saw it and said, it looks okay. Scotland will be playing there. Or will they? Oh no, they're at the
Hard Rock.
Yeah, they're at Hard Rock. They won't be playing there.
Yeah.
I mean, star performers from Whitecaps' point of view for you in this one?
Yeah, I think. I mean, it's hard because I think Ali played well, but that finish still for me. But yeah, you can't not mention him in this game. I think Sabi has both a brilliant moment and the unfortunate miss earlier in the game. Again, Kubas. You talk about Kubas.
Yeah.
He's great until he gets stripped from Messi.
But I think that in part though as well, that's part of the issue. It's like no one was terrible, but no one was like, oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
And I mean, Matty Laborda, I don't remember him putting a foot wrong, but I don't remember him getting forward. But then this is the kind of game you don't necessarily, like Ocampo was forward so far at times. It's like Matty has to stay back if the other fullback's way up there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously Thomas doesn't play as an influential role as all Whitecaps fans and Jesper would have longed for.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I would have taken him off because
I thought
it wasn't coming.
When I saw Ryan Gold coming on, I thought, oh, he's okay. He's run his course, but Jesper decided to go a different way in that moment. Didn't work out.
That's also a ballsy thing as well. It's like, well, we're taking off our big guy. Like if Muller's saying I'm good to go, and you take him off,
you don't take him. Yeah, in that game.
Yeah, you're not going to take him off.
I know he didn't have enough big moments, but he still created the whatever.
He pulled strings in the first half.
But that header to me was just like he put it on a platter and it wasn't finished. I'm sure.
Yeah, and he had a little flicked header himself.
Yeah, but that header down to Sabi, I think for him, he's just like, I can't believe we didn't score on that. No anger against his teammate.
But like Mueller as well after the game said, I'm paraphrasing, but like I'm not going to point fingers, but we know that we lost this more than they won it. It was our mistakes, and we need to be better at that. And you're thinking, he's talking about Kubas.
Well, and Sabi not taking the chance he set up for him.
Yeah, possibly that as well. But the 2025 MLS season has come to an end. Now we get in to all of the tasty off-season stuff, and we always enjoy these parts of the year. But we're going to be looking at what's next for the Whitecaps, player decisions, roster decisions that's got to come up, everything like that. And we'll be back with that after we bring you song number 12 in our Festive 15. And if you haven't been listening to the show as a regular, our Festive 15 is where I pick my favourite 15 tracks of the year. We play them in full. If you don't want to listen to that in full for this one, fast forward about 3 minutes 40 seconds for those that do want to hear it. We'll be back with that after this.
Hi, I'm Ali Ahmed. You're listening to the AFTN Soccer Show.
He says he could give me fairy dust. He says I could shine a little more. He's always looking from above. He's on the search for something more. I'm made of meat and bones. That's why I'm not in love. Even as false and loves, I'm not your perfect home yet. I toss a coin and hope for miracles. I wear my face sometimes like a clown. You test my skin until it burns. I'll starve myself to get some love. I'm made of meat and bones. That's why I'm not in love. People as false and loves. I'm not your perfect home yet. I'm not the only one that's bleeding all the time. I'm not the only one that's bleeding all the time. I'm not the only one that's bleeding all the time. I'm not the only one. I'm made of meat and bones. That's why I'm not in love. People as false and loves. I'm not your perfect home.
Welcome back to the AFTN Soccer Show on CITR Radio 101.9 FM. And kicking off this part, it's song number 12 in AFTN's Festive 15 for 2025. A three-piece band from Swindon in the UK, led by a female singer from Mexico. They released 3 singles in 2025. That was the second of them, released on April 20th. The band is I See Orange, and that was Feebleness. And we'll be back with song number 11 to kick off the next part, but we're going to get back to the Whitecaps chat now. So, we've looked at the season that was, the MLS Cup final heartbreak, but joy in the occasion and everything that went with it as well. And the question now, what is next for the Whitecaps? Both on the pitch, off the pitch, roster decisions, games to come, what the MLS off-season looks like. We're going to cover all of that in the next 2 parts. And with the 2025 MLS and Whitecaps season now in the history books, it is time to look ahead at what is to come in 2026. So all the end of season MLS mechanisms will kick off this week with all the various drafts and player acquisition mechanisms. Everything kicks off on Wednesday, December 10th, when free agency opens. December 11th is stage 1 of the MLS re-entry draft. That day also sees the end of the waivers, which I guess technically everything kicks off on Tuesday the 9th, because that's when MLS end of season waivers options open up. Next week, December 17th, we'll see stage 2 of the MLS re-entry draft, and I don't expect the Whitecaps to be busy in any of those mechanisms. Maybe the free agency, but definitely not re-entry or waivers. And then Thursday, December 18th, a week before Christmas, with the setting still to be confirmed. So I don't know if it's going to be virtual again like last year, which I did feel took a bit of a shine off it for the players involved, but it will be the 2026 MLS Super Draft. And of course, with the Whitecaps getting to the MLS Cup, they will be one of the later teams to pick just before Miami. So, good chance still to pick players up for WFC2, have a look at them. And of course, you just have to look at Tate Johnson and what he's done this year after being selected in last year's Super Draft. You also have the draw coming up on Tuesday, 4 p.m. Pacific time, for next year's CONCACAF Champions Cup. So the Whitecaps currently find themselves ranked 6th in the CONCACAF club rankings as of December 8th, updated after the MLS Cup. And that defeat to Miami saw the Whitecaps lose 2 points, and that saw them drop from 5th to 6th. And we'll talk about the importance of that in a second. So the teams ranked above them, Cruz Azul are first, then it's Deportivo Toluca, Inter Miami, Tigres, and now Club America are 5th, with the Whitecaps 6th, just above Columbus Crew. And why that defeat to Miami was hugely important and the loss of 2 points that went with it. Miami, as MLS Cup winners, got a bye into the round of 16. Also getting a bye into the round of 16, Deportivo Toluca, Seattle Sounders as the League Cup champions, LD Alajuelense, and Mount Pleasant FA. So what that meant is all the other teams go into the first round draw with the 3 remaining highest ranked sides preceded to reward their competitive merit and strength. So those 3 sides that are seeded are Cruz Azul, Tigres, and now Club America. The Whitecaps just missing out on a seed by 2 points. That sees them in pot 1 as amongst the other 8 best ranked clubs with LAFC, Monterrey, Philadelphia, Cincinnati, LA Galaxy, Nashville and Pumas. So the way that it's going to work out, they'll pretty much have, I think on paper, what is going to be quite an easy first round draw. But in pot 2 is San Diego FC, and that's the only MLS team in pot 2, and you'll want to avoid them at all costs, I would say, in that first round matchup. The 3 CPL sides are also in pot 2, Forge, Atletico Ottawa and Vancouver FC. And if you're caring, Zach, VFC ranked 100th now, so they're in the top 100 clubs in CONCACAF. They actually went up a spot in the rankings without having to do anything. Just above Valor, who are no more. So I think a lot of teams will be hoping that they can maybe get Vancouver in that draw. FC, not the Whitecaps. Whitecaps will kick off games in the kind of second part of that draw. So we'll chat about how the draw played out and the Whitecaps' path, hopefully, to another Champions Cup final in the next episode of this show. We'll also delve in to the 2026 Whitecaps MLS schedule that came out a few weeks ago now, but things have just been so busy, so much happening, we haven't even had a chance to discuss any of that. So we'll do that next time around. For the rest of this part, I want to look at one of the big off the pitch talking points for the last few weeks, and you feel it's going to rumble on for the next few weeks in particular, and that is the stadium, both current and future for the Whitecaps. They're signing off a new deal at BC Place, a short-term deal, and how their desire to build their own new stadium up at Hastings Racecourse are being met by all the other parties involved. So, the current stadium. It appears that the Whitecaps, well, they're definitely playing the 2026 season at BC Place. State that now.
But is there a contract though?
No, it appears they're going to be doing so without having signed a new deal to play there.
So would that be, do you know, is that just like a normal thing where like, hey, for example, I have a 2-year phone contract with X organization. Let's say TELUS, because that's on the front of the Whitecap shirt. I have a 2-year contract with TELUS. My contract's up, so we just keep going with whatever the terms were until we make a new contract?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's how my last phone contract worked as well before I switched to Freedom, which I will plug again. Freedom Mobile, apart from being excellent value, my plan has Canada, America, calls, texts and data, 80 gigabytes. So whenever I've been down the US, I can use my phone as if I'm in Canada. And their plans now also include Mexico. You can have all three. They're the sponsor for the new amphitheatre at the P&E. It's going to be the Freedom Amphitheatre that they're hosting the World Cup stuff at. I
can't remember if I said this to you or on the show, but my wife's cousin designed that building.
Oh no!
Him and his firm, yeah, he does these wooden. He did the big wooden building at UBC. Yeah, he does that architecture in that wood style.
I mean, I don't know how that's working. I know we're getting sidetracked again. If it's going to be like pay tickets or whatever, but as a Freedom customer, hopefully I would get the chance to get any VIP stuff or something.
It's going to have to be ticketed or some sort of. I mean, at other, like in Germany, when the Fan Fest really took off in 2006, there was basically an entry point. You don't have to have a ticket or anything, but I believe whether they were counting with clickers or machine was counting or whatever, when it reached a certain capacity, they just stopped letting people. They stopped letting people in until there were people who left, and then as people left, then they would let more people in, kind of thing. So it'll be interesting. And in Doha, the Fan Fest is really one of my favorite subjects.
See, I don't like it because I'm around people, but there we go. I've done my peopling this weekend.
The Fan Fest is not one of my favorite subjects. That was supposed to be a joke, but and you're one of the few people who I think should understand that joke. Anyway,
I get it now. Yeah.
But I don't think I don't ever remember. I mean, I wasn't there a lot, but I don't ever remember being full because it was so massive, right? It was so huge, and so many of the people I think were at games. But I saw different times it was fuller than others, but there were definitely they could have just stop letting people in, I think that's how you have to run these modern fan fests, and whether or not it's actually ticketed seems, ticketed and costing seems ridiculous.
Well, there might be a VIP area or something, because it is massive, so there might be a special VIP area down the front or something.
Yeah, that's fair. But
I tell you what was full in Doha though, you with all your food vouchers. You ate like a king.
Honestly, though, I think I hope and the food's got to be better at this than the Doha food options were not great.
Well, you get to relive your whole Doha experience when Qatar come to town.
I don't know that. Yeah, we'll see if I go to the Fan Fest.
Let's talk about stuff in part 4. Back to the stadium. I have to get sidetracked again. So, Axel Schuster has told various people that no deal is in place. Don Garber confirmed that in his scathing State of the League address in answer to a question from Jeff Reuter from The Athletic on Thursday. A State of the League thing not held at the MLS Cup, but before the World Cup draw, which I still a bit pissed off by that, actually, because it felt that a lot of other stuff could have happened at the MLS Cup, but that we've had in previous years and didn't happen this year. But anyway, that's another thing. So it was indicated that the province of BC and BC Place haven't been moving in terms of an acceptable new deal or a new stadium. Both seem to want to keep the Whitecaps at BC Place from some comments that's been made, which from a BC Place point of view, obviously, they want to keep one of their main tenants there. But I mean, it's not feasible, it's not tenable, it's not acceptable, as we've discussed previously. And despite what some people feel, I was having a discussion with Bob Mackin on Twitter this evening, who's like, if BC Place offer the Whitecaps and MLS better concessions and more dates, they'll be happy to stay there. I'm like, trust me, they will not be.
Not for the long term.
That is not where they want long term. And if you think that's going to win them over long term, it's not happening. So everyone is kind of wondering just what is happening with the BC Place deal. And we'll hear a little bit from Axel Schuster later in this part, just talking about the general new stadium issues and current stadium issues. But a few media has been trying to kind of get an answer from Chris May, the general manager at BC Place Stadium, about what is happening with the new deal for the Whitecaps. And he's not, for obvious reasons, really wanted to talk too much about it, especially while negotiations are going on. But he was speaking on Monday morning at a FIFA Vancouver event to unveil the new Killarney Park venue-specific training site and show everyone the training pitch there. More on that in future episodes of the podcast. But there was a Q&A section, so I used my 2 questions to kind of put questions to Chris May, partly about the work that's getting done at BC Place in the build-up to the World Cup and how that might affect the Whitecaps in their games that they're going to have there before the World Cup break, but also to ask him, where do things stand with a new Whitecaps deal? Here's what he had to tell me. Hi Chris, I just wanted to ask if you could talk a little bit about the challenges and getting stadium work done at a stadium that is obviously in heavy use. The Whitecaps will have 9 games before it gets handed over to FIFA. Can fans expect any disruption in the opening months of next year?
It has been a challenge, and that was a decision we made at the beginning of this process. Either we were shutting the stadium down for a long period of time, or we were finding a way. I call it capital project Tetris, or surgical sort of implementation of these. So we've really had to plan our calendar very carefully to ensure that all of those projects can happen in time. As there was through this season now, up until the last Caps game before the World Cup, there will be construction happening at the stadium in and around the concourses to get us ready. Coming out of the back of FIFA, that first BC Lions game is July 25th. Everything will be complete by that point, and the stadium will be back to normal.
Just a follow-up for you. The stadium's obviously going to be looking wonderful by the end of this. Since we have you, do you have any updates on the Whitecaps lease at the stadium?
Just that we're in really good discussions, and that BC Place and BC Pavco has one interest in this, well, 2 really, and that is ensuring the Vancouver Whitecaps are a viable franchise long-term in Vancouver, and that we're representing the interests and balancing that as a publicly owned facility with the needs of all British Columbians.
So, not a lot coming from Chris May there. And we'll hear, as I mentioned, from Axel Schuster later in this part, just talking about the potential of a new short-term deal for the Whitecaps at BC Place. And I mentioned a lot of the stadium chat was brought up again because of Don Garber's State of the League address comments on Thursday. So Garber ended his answer to that question with a comment that if there's no movement, difficult decisions will need to be made. And that was on the back of an article in The Athletic, who, it has to be said, are very much the league's mouthpiece for leaked stories and sources these days, saying that there were 6 interested parties in buying the Whitecaps and moving them away from Vancouver, whereas Axel will tell you that there is a very interested investor in the Whitecaps to keep them in Vancouver that's been involved, was at the last game at BC Place. So I get the posturing from Don Garber. He's playing hardball, but I felt the timing of it, 2 days before the team's in a cup final, was absolutely abhorrent. It's like, you don't put that out there, because it then led to questions to Jesper and players on Friday. Oh, what do you think about the team maybe moving? It's like, let them prepare for a cup final. That is not the time to start asking these questions.
I totally hear what you're saying. I saw a number of people sharing that sentiment in terms of, again, was this the league messing with the Whitecaps to try and, mind games, throw them off, have them be distracted about their future employment or future location of their employment and all that kind of stuff. And as much as that could have played a role, I think that all these players, and Jesper for sure, they're all mentally strong enough to be able to not think about that. And even though I don't think you're wrong in your perspective, I
genuinely don't think it did put them off.
Yeah. Okay.
But the timing of it, it's like it's just throwing something out there instead of focusing what the Whitecaps have done this year.
And I hate to sound like someone defending Don Garber in almost anything. I think, though, the reason he's doing this, Michael, is because this is a window of time in and around the final where even his words are magnified greater than at any other time.
Yeah. All eyes are on the Whitecaps right now in the city.
Exactly. So, and plus it's the MLS Cup final. So
Yes.
even if they'd gone out to San Diego, I still think he's making these comments because it gets the most attention and in theory puts the most pressure on the province, on BC Place.
But the problem is the American media then just focus on, the team are playing in a cup final and they could be moving. But the good news this week was that Hastings Racecourse is shuttering after running horse racing there since 1889. The operation of the casino and simulcast race book at the facility aren't affected. And I know a lot of people will lose their jobs with the racetrack shutting. I think a couple of thousand folk are employed in all aspects, from working at the stadium to the breeders to even folk that supply feed and stuff. I've made it clear before when we were talking about Saskatchewan and CPL that I feel horse racing's had its time. I don't think in terms of animal safety and welfare, and I've spoken to people that's been involved in horse racing for years that are starting to feel the same way. I think it's great that they're stopping horse racing there. I know there are people that will miss it and they'll be hurt by it and they'll probably hate the Whitecaps if they get their stadium there, but it opens the door now for the Whitecaps stadium development. And the Sailortooth Nation have the rights to the casino. And I said that what looked to be the ideal plan was that the First Nations would get the casino rights for this development, work as partners of the Whitecaps in the development. You would then bring in a partner for building the residential stuff that was talked about that they want to build at the development as well. And that looks like where it's all heading, because Vancouver Mayor Ken Sim was at the game in Miami. He was also at the World Cup draw, and he was having some drinks with supporters and just chatting to them. And he's told supporters this weekend that the deal for the new stadium was closer than ever. It will be done, and that there's a pressing need to get it done as soon as possible. And then there's murmurs, there's an article in the province today about it, that a memorandum of understanding is being put to the city this week that would give the Whitecaps a period to enter into negotiations with partners to now develop that site for stadium, entertainment and housing. Excellent signs, excellent news, and we could get something as early as this week. So there's so much chatter going around the Whitecaps Stadium situation just now, so it was natural that when Axel Schuster took part in the Whitecaps end of season availability on Monday, that was going to be a question on a lot of people's lips as to just what is happening with new stadium, current stadium situation. So let's bring you some audio from Axel on Monday, just talking about both of those things.
Axel, can we circle back to the stadium question? Where are you at? I'm particularly interested. News came out over the weekend about horse racing operations ceasing at Hastings Park. Where are you at with the city of Vancouver on negotiations for building a soccer-specific stadium at Hastings Park?
Yeah, I think as on the player side, we don't like to talk too much about things that are in the making or in discussions because I don't think it helps really. So unfortunately, I probably have to go back to what was always my holding statement. We work on plans and we spend a lot of time and effort into finding solutions with all potential stakeholders to find a long-term good setup and sustainable solution for this club in Vancouver. And part of that is obviously that we have to have conversations with important stakeholders like city and province and others. And then I don't think that we have announced anything, and I don't think something leaked in our organization because I can tell, and Nate knows, 99.9% of the employees in this club are not involved in this and we don't steal any of their time because we want to focus on making this club better on and off the pitch. So said that everything you hear, and if it sounds positive, it might be right because we are working on it, but I also don't want to create wrong hopes. It's only one or little of many steps that we still have to go to get to the final solution. And then I have to say, luckily, our ownership is very committed to this process and is not running away, what I said from the first day, and they want to find a solution here. And so we have given us the time and all the success and making it the brightest nicest bride. Brightest bride also works, I think. Helps probably to push a little bit of this, but we are still way at the beginning of a final solution.
So if it helps, I think the leak came from the fact the mayor was drinking with supporters down in Miami, so that's pretty much where that came from. Looking at next year then, not the new stadium, the current stadium, I got a chance to ask Chris May this morning what the latest was in that, and it was a very non-informative answer, just that it's close, but they have to think what's best for them. How close are you to signing a deal for next year or for the next couple of years with BC Place?
Yeah, and thank you for this question because going back to Gemma's question before, this is actually even only a next step because we need first to focus on the first step, and the first step is the next year and the next years, because I think even in the best case scenario, it will take some time until we could play somewhere else, and so we are focusing on optimizing our situation in BC Place and working with Chris May, his team, and Pavko on doing this. And next year will be extra challenging because there's a World Cup and our schedule is extra challenging, and it will be extra challenging already in whatever scenario. So we are also working through this. And I think we have made it very clear that we expect that we get a fair solution here. And our basis is fairness and what we see in other markets and what is actually an average deal in other similar setups. So we really hold here the line to say, look, we have to get at least to average while we are a top third team, top 10 team, top 7 team in a lot of metrics, top 2 team on the sporting side. So we want to get at least to average. And the basis of our conversation is this and not what we had for 15 years and what was negotiated 15 years ago. And I would say we are making progress. And I remain optimistic that we can find a solution. But if it is not a fair solution, then I think everyone who is listening to that and everyone who is reading what you are writing will understand how should that work in the long term if it is not fair. So and I think asking for the average is probably fair. So if you are a top 7, top 10 team in this league on metrics on match day. So that's where we are, and we are doing our work to come up with analytics on that and on providing the context to all of this. And if it takes another round, and if it takes another meeting, and it takes more information, then we will not be lazy, and we will not hold back that. We will continue to push and work on that and provide everything, and we will invest more hours into this, and because we need now to find a way better solution. Otherwise, it will be very hard.
You touched on this a little bit earlier. What's the message to the fans who've gone on a bit of a roller coaster of emotions, so excited for this MLS Cup final, and then also this cloud hanging over the club about the future of the Vancouver Whitecaps in Vancouver? What would you say to them?
Yeah, as I said, I think a couple of months ago, it is not wrong to be concerned, but then it's also not wrong to raise your concern and to get behind us, because I think we never went out with something unreasonable. We never went out with crazy messages. The way we build our team, the way we have built this club over years, is how we will continue to work. And if you believe we do the right thing, it's definitely not wrong to raise your voice and get behind the club and tell everyone how much this club matters to you, how much you believe in this club, and how important this club is. And then I think then we all together have a good chance to get a solution.
So some good, positive, honest and frank comments from Axel Schuster there. And, I mean, it's certainly going to be a situation that is just going to be talked about for the next few months. Hopefully not too many months, and we can get this in the books. And hopefully there is going to be some kind of announcement, maybe even coming out this week by the sounds of it. Obviously, Axel's limited in what he can say at this point.
I guess some of my questions for you, Michael, is how much does I know you and I have talked about, I don't think it was on the show. You were helping me understand some of the stuff off the show. But how much does the political climate that the current mayor finds himself in with like an election within like a year or whatever it is, how much does that kind of play into this? And how much, I mean,
totally.
In a good way, or is it does it help him get reelected?
I think right now he knows there's a good chance he's not going to win the next election.
Okay.
But you develop this site, you deliver the stadium, and you're going to have Whitecaps fans that might be swayed to vote for him. Like, to be honest, this will be the first mayor election that I can vote in.
Mm-hmm.
And he would get my vote if he delivers a stadium, because people vote for different reasons. Some look at the bigger picture.
Yeah.
I look at what affects me. I'm one of those selfish pricks. I can't help it. So if he delivers a stadium, he would have my vote, and I'm sure I'm not the only Whitecaps fan that would think that way.
Oh, that's totally fair. But the other thing, because I agree with you, this is all very optimistic and points in a really good direction. I don't think we can talk about this subject without looking to the past. There have been other moments in time where there's been lots of excitement and things pointing in the right direction for the Whitecaps. Is this just a what would you say is the possibility or the probability that this is going to lead to more heartbreak for Whitecaps fans as opposed to the joy of having a new home to really call their own and to really help the club progress in all areas, including grass pitch and financial opportunities and all that kind of stuff?
I mean, I don't know how all the planning would work, like whether they can push it through no matter what without putting it to public whatever. But if there's any public money getting used from the city or from the province, then it makes it more difficult. I don't think there would be a referendum like we've seen in other cities and stuff. I don't think we've got time for that. What I would say, if this gets put forward and gets rejected, that will be the end of the Whitecaps in Vancouver. It's like there's no way the team will stay because they'll have said, well, we've tried to get the stadium, we've just got no support from the government, so what is the point of staying here? They clearly don't care about the team. I would feel very confident in saying the team would leave if they can't deliver the stadium. Axel said there that fans are right to have concerns and they're right to raise those concerns and they should be vocal and raise their concerns. That's what the Whitecaps need for there to be a public outcry and for as much pressure as possible to go on the provincial government to get this deal done. Folk will object to it. I've already seen so many folks saying there's no need to go to a new stadium. BC Place is fine. Why should we be spending taxpayers' money on this? But that's why there's entertainment to offer more things. That's why there's housing involved as well. So it's not just the stadium. And people that don't it's like, it's a World Cup stadium. It's not anything to do with that. It needs to be a soccer-specific stadium. I would also say as well, because folk have said, oh, go into it with the Lions. No. The Lions can do their own facility if they want, go to Surrey, stay at BC Place. This has to be for soccer only. Look at that pitch at San Diego if you want to see what sharing a grass pitch with a football team does to your stadium pitch. So, no. Other things about, well, you've got a roof, this is a new stadium, not going to have that weather facilities for the new schedule. That is a factor, but let's be honest, we don't get a lot of snow here. It will be rainy. If you make sure it's got the right drainage, undersoil heating, everything would be fine. It might not be pleasant for some of the fans in those conditions, but you would hope the new stadium would have roofs over all the stands for that very reason.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see how it all plays out. I think there could be news this week, so we could be talking more in the next show.
And again, just to be clear, would this be a facility that the Whitecaps actually own and fully operate?
Yes.
So that's
the Rise would play out there. WFC2 would play out there. Right. Maybe the academy teams as well. So that's where
the potential frustration over public money comes from, right?
Yeah. But it could also be used to attract other concerts.
Yeah, oh, absolutely, yeah. Well, because I know even Tempire, the Temporary Empire, I don't know if they did much of that other stuff there, but it was the way that facility was built still enabled that picturesque view of the mountains where if you build the stadium right, you can have that as a part of your concert venue, right? Where that's a part of the backdrop and the background and the beauty. And so many folk missed that. I mean, it was a gorgeous view. I mean, it was just such a wonderful setting. One of the best settings I've watched football in my whole many years watching football. But yeah, it's going to be a very interesting off-season off the pitch. Mm-hmm. Also, in terms of the players, and we're going to be talking about some possible roster decisions, which might be known by the time you listen to this podcast in the next part. And we'll be back with that after Song 11 from AFTN's 2025 Festive 15. As usual, if you don't want to hear the music, fast forward about 3 minutes, 20 seconds.
If you do, we'll be back with that after this.
Hi, I'm Emmanuel Sabi, and you're listening to the AFTN Soccer Show.
Welcome back to the AFTN Soccer Show on CITR Radio 101.9 FM. And kicking off this part, it's song number 11 in AFTN's Festive 15 of tracks for 2025. It's a band we featured as Album of the Month very, very recently. Irish band Kneecap, and that was their second single of the year, released on September 2nd, featuring Paul Hartnell. It's been a favourite on their summer festival sets. They released it as a single a couple of months ago, Sayonara. And we might be saying sayonara to a few players this week at the Whitecaps, maybe even a Japanese one. We're going to talk in this part about Whitecaps' end-of-season roster decisions. And as I've mentioned a couple of times already, it might be a case that by the time you hear this, the roster decisions will be known. I think they are going to come out on Monday. So if there's been developments, I might splice a little bit in at the end just to sum it all up. But I thought we'll give our thoughts on some of the decisions just now. So we'll talk about where we think the roster decisions might or should maybe go, and then when they come out you can laugh at our decisions perhaps, but also always remember that even if the options are picked up, even if most of the players are back as of now, that doesn't mean come the start of the season, even come training camp, that they're all going to be there, because in a number of these cases, they're maybe going to pick options up to trade or to sell. Some options might be turned down, that they'll then renegotiate the contracts and bring them back. So bear all of that in mind with the talk that you're about to hear. So, I mean, what this means for the Whitecaps getting to the MLS Cup is the decisions now need to be made ASAP. Although, to be fair, they're going to have been made by the time we get to this point anyway. And, I mean, sadly, it is the inevitability in football that players move on. Not all of them through their own choice. Often fan favourites move on, and you don't know when you've seen your player play the last game for the club sometimes. And the sad, stark reality is that a number of the players that were on the pitch on Saturday, on that trip to Miami, waving to the fans at the end of the game, they might have played the last games as a Whitecap, either on Saturday or in the games before. And there's going to be some tough decisions for Axel Schuster and the whole team around what they're going to do. And there's going to be roster constraints as well. There's players that are going to be due salary bonuses, increases, from options getting picked up, from just their performances this year, from the team's performance. A number of players are in their option years. Goalkeepers, as Indeas and Anchor. Defenders, Halbuni, Laborda and Neil. Midfielders, Berhalter, Mueller, Ngando, Priso. And forwards, Ahmed, Florio Chateau, and Danny Rios. Also goalkeepers, Yohei Takaoka and Isaac Boehmer are free agents. So technically all four goalkeepers could be away, which obviously they won't be. Now, the goalkeeping situation is an interesting one, as we've discussed before, and it was kind of fitting that Sayonara kicked off this section, and it genuinely is just coincidence that it came in to start this section. So we spoke to Yohei, Har, and myself after the game on Saturday, and the last question that Har threw at him was, "Are you going to be back next year?" And he was non-committal, but he was talking about next year and the future as if he was going to be part of it. But my understanding for the last few weeks was that he was looking to maybe head back to Japan for personal reasons. And he is on a whopping 874,000, which would free up some of the roster space to allow these other things to happen. But obviously other players could move on that would also do that. But although I've talked a lot about this, I want to stress, and I've criticised Yohei at times in the last couple of years, he has been tremendous in the role that Jesper Sorensen wants his goalkeeper to play. Mm-hmm. It's like the sweeper keeper. And if he goes, the Whitecaps have to find a keeper as good or better in that role, which is not going to be that easy. It's going to be a priority, but what cost does that then come with?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think Yohei has a great ability with his feet. I think if you want to look at the playoffs, you have to look no further than Sabi's goal against LAFC, which was all from his tremendous direct long ball forward, picking out a quality run from Sabi. He's a little bit shorter than I'd want as a keeper, but I think he still is a quality shot stopper and has elevated the back line, like the defending from the Whitecaps, and elevated them overall. I agree with you, though, that if he were to want to leave or feel like he needs to leave or whatever, it does provide the Whitecaps with an opportunity to maybe stick with someone like Isaac, who's come through their system, say, he's our guy. Obviously, he might
Only on 104,000 right now as well. Now, obviously, if he's going to be a main man, his option will be at a way higher rate.
But that's going to go up. But like, it's not going to go up to 800,000.
No,
it's going to be like 2 or 250 or 3 or something. Like, it's going to be something far more reasonable. And then that, let's say that roughly $500,000 in cap space that helps them allocate to other places, whether that's to augment the contracts of some of the returning players who've done so much, like even someone like a young, like Tate Johnson or whatever. Maybe they're like, okay, we know he's under contract, but we need to improve his contract. Or like maybe is more significant for them is like, okay, who do we need to bring in to replace players other places around the pitch? I think it would be great for them to have have Isaac. We'll talk about Max in a minute.
I thought you were going to talk Max Anchor.
No, but
or Max
Isaac,
Tripot.
it's great for them also just to have as a club to say, look, finally, we have one of our own keepers that is progressing to be the number one keeper. Because really in the MLS era, although there's been some keepers who've made the breakthrough into that number 2 spot and have got some spots, especially Isaac, no one has they've never ever really said, okay, here is a local that we kind of raised up, right? I mean, obviously like Canadian Maxime Crepeau, but not one of their own. And so I think that would be a really great, but that does come with the potential of not reaching the targets that you just mentioned in terms of bringing someone at the same level or better than Yohei. Because I don't think, and I think I have a lot of time for Isaac Boehmer, I don't think anyone would say he's at or better than Yohei at the moment in maybe any of the categories that they would be evaluating. But I would say, I think he still has lots of potential. I will say he's played with the team and knows the team and has had these years of trying to understand and grow in the way that they play. Now, obviously, you don't become a quote unquote Manuel Neuer style sweeper keeper overnight. But I think having been around it for so long, I think it could be helpful. I like it as honestly, Michael. If Yohei's gone, I like it as a solution because of what it says about what the club believes about who they are and where they're going, and because of the extra cap space it'll give them to improve elsewhere. And then if you want to talk about number 2, and you talk about the other youngsters coming through the system, I said it before, I think on the show, or that you and I have definitely talked about it. I don't know that Max is ready to be that, despite some of the positive stuff that
I don't think he's ready to be the number 2.
Yeah, so I think you
have to bring someone in,
like a veteran, an older veteran type player that can fill in for Isaac here or there, or suspension, or a little
challenge him as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, fair enough. But again, that has to be a keeper with the right mentality, approach, temperament, all that kind of stuff, right? Like you need,
but also that fits the style that Jesper wants to play, so he has to be good with his feet. Like even in the MLS Cup final, a lot of the goal kicks were a little touch inside to Yohei in the 6-yard box, and then he would build everything out from the back. So that's how Jesper's wanting to play. So you have to have the right goalkeeper. And it's like, I mean, hopefully this off-season, if we wanted to do it all season, we never got it done, and maybe speak to someone like Quinn Thompson to talk about the scouting and the stuff that they go into. But you know that they'll have a big list of players for all these different things. I mean, defensively, the team is stacked, and perhaps too stacked in terms of having so many players and trying to keep them all happy. But, I mean, we saw the injury hell that this year was, particularly on the back line. So at full-back, we've got Eddie Aracampo, Giuseppe Bovalina, Sam Arakugbe, Tate Johnson, and I'm going to put Matty Laborda in as full-back, although obviously he can be centre-back as well. So we've talked before, just even last week I think, that Bova, as an international, is one that is likely to see his time here come to an end. And I'd be sad to see that because I think he's got a lot of potential, but at this stage, he's got to be playing regularly. I could also see, and I'm not saying the Whitecaps would accept it, But because of the other options there, I could see an American team to try and make a play for Tate. Either as a trade, maybe a goalkeeper trade, or like a cash trade into the new system, because he's the ideal guy. He's your young American fullback, got the experience, does well, lot of potential. I could definitely see him being interested in him.
My number one concern about that, Michael, is the injury history of Sam Adekugbe.
Yeah.
And I do not think you can let him go.
I don't think we should.
Yeah.
But it could be an offer you can't refuse.
Despite the history, of a lot of players who come through the draft and then, have a great first season and then have a bit of a sophomore slump, I still think you need his potential, his quality, and I think they need to keep. I think they have to keep him. When is Sam supposed to be back? Like for Sam, obviously we hope he's fully fit and vying to be in the World Cup squad.
Yeah.
But,
I was on the plane with Elijah today. I'll tell you that story off air.
I look forward to hearing that.
Matty, his salary this year was just over $1 million, and he's in an option year, so that usually means it's going to go up. And my worry is that they might feel they can't afford to keep him around, but I think that would be devastating, because I think he's just so crucial to the success of the defence and the goals as well, that whatever it needs to go to, they've got to find a way to manage it, buy it down, whatever. You can't let him go. He's one of my favourite players on the team right now.
I agree. He is super crucial and so diverse and does so much at the back, but then also contributes up front. So yeah, he's a player that I think it would be shocking if he were somehow to leave.
The Sam thing is an issue because you can't let him go because he's injured. That would be horrible. When he's fit, do you look to trade him? Do you look to keep him here? You've also got Pupa that can play in that left back position. He's on a big salary as well, so it's like it's a tough one. The defence is so stacked, and there is going to maybe have to be some tough decisions made. I just really hope. Like, Sam was having such a good year, and it's just heartbreaking to see what he's gone through the last couple of years. Just everything from over in Turkey, all the injuries, World Cup year. He needs to be good. He came back for this very reason, to be home, to get focused for the World Cup, and you've got to say, like, when he's good to go, does he come in as the starter at left back, and then you put Laborde on right back, and it's Ocampo that drops out?
I think Jesper would be really excited to have those options, right? To have all those players healthy, and to have those options, or to rotate, especially in what's going to be a very difficult and very busy beginning of the season. And even though we've talked about how the Whitecaps were a side that kind of turned the norm on its head by excelling in the CONCACAF Champions Cup and the league at the beginning of the year at the same time, I think they're going to need all those players, including others we're about to talk about, coming back from injury to really, really to achieve all that they want to achieve.
At centre-back, we know Ranko's going to be missing the first part of the year. He'll be good to come after the World Cup break, and then he should be ready to go by that point. We've got Tristan Blackman, Bilal Halbouni, Sebastian Schonlau, Jodrick Pupa. I don't know, should we be including Ralph Priso in there now as a centre-back?
In a similar way to how valuable Matty Laborda is in terms of his diversity, I think this just helps Priso be valuable to whatever club he's on. In this case, obviously the Whitecaps. So yeah, I think he becomes an even more of a key figure. I think one of the big losers in that group, obviously, is Schonlau.
Yeah,
I think the injury. I think the Whitecaps have seen his pace up close and probably feel that creates too many issues for them and how they want to play. So I could see that being a short-lived experience, as harsh as that might be. Poupe,
I like him. I
Yeah,
think with a chance to actually get a run and not just come on for a few minutes and then be expected to play in a cup final, I like him because he's a big body.
yeah. I think for me, I kind of hold off judgment on him because I think and you
Oh,
need.
yeah, I mean, we obviously need to see a lot more, but
Yeah, I think before I know how I feel about him, I think you got to see him, yeah, for a good stretch. So I think if the, yeah, if everything, the numbers are right and whatever, I think, yeah, he's someone that'll be there come January 20th or whatever the start date is.
so Halbuni's in an option year. And
Oh yeah, how long is you only see
well, it was 7
to 8
to
weeks?
10, but now it looks like it could be 5 to 7. So
Okay.
he's going to be good for pre-season. But I mean, he's in an option year. He could attract interest from, you'd think, maybe one of the other Canadian teams.
Do you think he would want to go to somewhere else to try and get a more of a starting spot?
He should. Whether he feels he can battle for it here, I mean, he's got a lot of competition if he stays here. Now, I think he's done great, but like when Ralph Priso's getting a start ahead of you, you might kind of question. I don't know. It's hard to move a player on that's just coming off an injury as well. His options up. I think he'll have suitors. Maybe he starts pre-season, maybe moves on. I mean, I'd like to keep him here. I'd like to. I think we can keep all the centre backs together, but it is going to be a case. Some of them's maybe not going to play. I mean, Blackman's undoubtedly going to attract suitors.
Yeah, that's going to be
from US teams.
Yeah, that one might be harder for them to. Do you think any of like the injuries and stuff he suffered might make them more open to a deal?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, he's just been so good. He's on 800,000. He's going to be set to be on more. I can't see the Whitecaps letting him go though at any price. It's the same like with Brian White. There's been so much interest in him from other teams, but nothing that's made the Whitecaps want to let him go.
Yeah, nothing meets your evaluation.
Yeah, there's also Mark O'Neill, who was an addition cover from WFC2, never got to play. Now, I'm thinking his option's not getting picked up, but they'll keep the door open. They'll tell him to go and explore what other opportunities are out there and then maybe bring him back to the twos or something. So, yeah, defence is the big interesting one with these decisions. The midfield.
So before we get to the midfield, tell me two lineups. First match, so without Ranko, and then mid-season including Ranko. In your ideal scenario, everyone's match fit, healthy. What are you going with as your back four, like predominant back four?
I mean, when Ranko's back, it's Ranko and Blackman. For me, I like Laborda on the left and I like Ocampo on the right. So that would be my back four. And to start the season, who partners Tristan? I genuinely think it's a wide open race. I would maybe go with Ralph.
I might, your mid-season one, the only alteration I might make is if he's in form and flying off a good World Cup, I'd probably go Sam at left back and keep Matty as your option who can play all four positions off the bench.
Yeah. Or Matty goes in at right back and Ocampo's on the bench.
Yeah. In terms of the beginning of the year, if you don't have, let's say Sam's not ready to go and Ranko's not ready to go, then I think it's Blackman, and I would maybe go Blackman and Laborda in the middle with Tate left back and Ocampo right back. But that's also because I'm just not ready to give time to the two newer dudes.
Pre-season camp is one of these ones where I think there's a few jobs that are really up for grabs.
And I also realized I didn't mention Ralph in there, so I don't know where he's going to fit in when all the bodies are healthy. But I do think, regardless of if he's more considered by Jesper a center back than a center midfielder, I think he has a valuable role to play in the team going forward.
I mean, he's another one in his option year as well. So, I mean, he might feel he's worth a bit more than what his option is going to be as well. So midfield, obviously, Andres Kubis and Sebastian Berhalter are both such key players. Both will be attracting attention. There'll be clubs in South America and Mexico interested in Kubis. Despite any slip here or there, he's quality. And it's like, if anyone, again, I'll say this, if anyone's doubting that, give your head a shake.
Plus, if either have a quality World Cup. Now, most football people will tell you should never base the signing off a good tournament.
Yeah.
But that's just doesn't play out that way in reality. If someone has a good tournament, they get massive, or they get great offers.
Yeah,
And so,
even at like U17.
yes.
We've seen guys snapped up because of stuff that they've done there or at the Olympics or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Berhalter, there's going to be MLS teams that are going to come for him. But I think if he makes a move, it would be to Europe. And I think he will attract attention. But again, this falls into what you were just saying earlier. You'd be joining a club mid-season and trying to establish yourself. I think Seba has a better chance of that than maybe Ali.
Fair. Yeah.
Because of how he plays.
Yep.
Taking his set pieces out of this team, though, is then a huge hole.
Oh, yeah.
I just have this feeling in my gut that Seba's away in January as a transfer.
Did you talk to a Papa or a Mama?
No, Greg was there. He was on the pitch after the game. I don't know what his mum looks like, but
They kept on showing them on the screen. She was wearing a home kit, home Whitecaps kit. Sorry, not like a home Chicago kit or something.
I don't know. I just think this is his time to move on. I don't want to see him go, but he's earned it. He deserves it. I'll be amazed if both of them were here come this time next year.
Yeah.
I'm not saying both will go.
No.
Maybe just one. But if both of them were still here, I would be stunned.
So if one of them goes, Mike, is that the spot that sees a massive upgrade in the team in terms of, because like you and I just both talked about defense, and neither of us were like, hey, there's a lot of room for more guys. If one of those two guys goes, I don't know that like Priso or Ngando or whoever else can really fully fill that role.
Needs a new face.
Exactly. So maybe that's where, if one of them does go, that's maybe the most drastic change in the team or in the starting 11 is right there. Unless you consider Isaac for Yohei to be that drastic.
I mean, that is getting up there with drastic, though, as well. But then you're losing a set-piece person. But Goldie is good at the set-pieces.
Yeah.
Not as good as Seba, I'll say. Like, Seba this year has just been pinpoint.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I mean that's another element is it's the right foot versus the left foot. It's great to have both, right? So, yeah, I think if Seba goes and you're replacing him, I think you're looking for someone who can take on maybe all of his responsibilities in the team.
Yeah, which is a lot. Elsewhere in the middle, you've got Jeevan Badwal. He's progressed well. Ralph Priso is now the Swiss Army knife of the team. I like what I've seen from JC Ngando. I feel he's going to be one of the ones that's cut, though. He is on a low salary, but again, needs to play regularly. He's an international. You've also got young Liam McKenzie that they're going to want to see kind of progress like Badwal next year.
What would be a destination for JC?
Maybe go back over to France, lower tiers there. Maybe USL. I mean, he's better than USL, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone in MLS would come in because of the international, but when he's come in, I've liked him.
Yeah. Oh.
And I don't know why he just totally kind of fell off the map a little bit.
Yeah, that's one of the weird ones going on the back half of the season to see his time kind of drop off, because at the beginning there we were talking about how he was, taking the opportunities with both hands and running with it. But yeah, you might be right in terms of him being one that from the mid that departs with maybe one of those other big names as well.
Yeah, because the team has to improve.
Yes.
Now, you can,
You got to do something. You can't keep the
yeah, I mean,
same.
you can point to the fact we had all those injuries. So a fully healthy squad is kind of an upgrade on last year because you'll
But
have
let's
a whole year of Goldie.
let's not get into that conversation of
Yeah.
Ranko's like a new son.
But I mean, he is. But as will Goldie be? He was asked that question at some point this weekend. Do you feel you being back now is going to be like a new signing for the team next year? He said no.
You didn't ask. You didn't ask it though, right?
I didn't
Okay.
ask that. No.
Thank you.
So yeah, I mean, we've got Goldie and Mueller in that midfield as well. So wingers, Ali Ahmed, Jason Nelson.
Ryan's under contract. Muller's an option that
Yeah,
it's all
he's back.
the way
He's
talking.
already talking about next season.
Yeah.
So Ali Ahmed, Jaden Nelson, Emmanuel Sabi, Kenji Cabrera, so much speed, so much skill, so much danger. Can we keep all four? Can we keep them happy? Goldie's likely, if he's playing in this starting 11 with Mueller, to take up the left role. So, I mean, I think we can keep them, but it's whether we can keep them all happy. Talking to some folk this weekend, Sabi appears to be attracting interest from back over in Europe.
I think that's a great group of four for your wings, especially if you make Goldie your fifth. I think you're right that it's likely that all four will be back. I think Cabrera's back for sure.
Oh, Cabrera's definitely. I don't even think we've even scratched the surface of what he's going to bring to this team.
But yeah, I think any one of the other three main guys there could be gone. And maybe that's one of the other spots. If one or maybe even two of them were to go, like say Ali and Sabi or Ali and Jaden, that's where you have another opportunity to bring in a real difference maker.
Yeah. 'Cause like someone like Jaden, as we talked about, has he fallen down the pecking order? If TFC were to come back and say, would you like to come back? We can give you more regular minutes. Montreal, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to weigh that up because he's going to want to play
Because he's
with
going
the World Cup coming.
Yeah, he's trying to fight to get back in that squad. Yeah.
Strikers, Brian White, Ryan Alumi, Daniel Rios, Nelson Pierre, and Nicolas Florio Chateau, who was nice to see they took him down to the MLS Cup as well, because he was back training. So Rios is on loan
with an option to buy.
I expect him to move on, but I mean, you never know. He's only on just now, just over 186,000. He does contribute. Hold up plays we've talked about so many times. Hasn't got the goals. I think we can upgrade that position.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Mike, that's an obvious upgrade position for them. I think even Ryan, Alumi is the potential upgrade in that in the number two spot. Nothing against Rios, and he did give them. You're right, great work rate, great team play, a focal point to play off of up top. But yeah, you can't. He can't come.
I mean, I don't think he will be, but and then you've got like Nicolas Florio Chateau and Nelson Pierre. I mean, do they both come back? I'd imagine
NFC's
yes,
gone. NFC's gone, right?
I could see him coming back and getting loaned out again.
Okay. Yeah, Pierre.
I could also maybe see Pierre getting loaned out as
Yeah,
well.
I can see Pierre getting loaned out.
Maybe to a USL side.
Mm-hmm.
Just to see what, like we've seen what he can do at WFC too. We paid to get his homegrown rights, so they obviously want to keep him around. So I could see both of them getting loaned out, but then we need to bring in more striker reinforcements.
Thinking more about Pierre as opposed to NFC, do you think the Whitecaps could look to the example of Hugo Mbong last year and say, hey, let's get him into a CPL side where he's going to be the number one guy, the number one striker, and go out and score, let's say 12 to 20 goals in the league. So he gets that experience, he gets that form, he gets into form, and he is an option for us next year as to move into that number 2 or number 3 spot with us, like the long term. Or he goes and performs in CPL, and then you sell him on to whatever, somewhere in Europe or Central America or whatever.
I think he'd be more likely to go to USL because he is American.
Yeah.
I just think that would make a lot more sense, and I think he would get tested better.
Might even make dollars.
Yeah. I mean, for NFC, he got 4 goals and 2 assists in 20 games on his loan deal.
Which is not great.
No. So I don't know. Maybe they'll just cut ties with him. And Pierre will be the kind of the project. Because you also don't want to block pathways for any WFC2 players next year as well. Antoine Coupland, I've talked about for a while, I'd like to see get a chance to make the jump, but you can't keep all these guys about and do that as well. That's the other issue. I mean, I don't envy Axel at all with all of this. And yeah, I'm sure by the time many folk listen to this, the decisions will be known. And if there's anything dramatic, I'll splice a bit in after we do this bit. And that is exactly what we're going to do right now, because the Whitecaps did announce their roster decisions on Monday. They exercised the contract options on goalkeeper Adrian Zendejas, defender Matthias Laborda, central midfielders Sebastian Berhalter, JC Ngando, Ralph Priso, winger Ali Ahmed, and forward Thomas Mueller. So with all the decisions, those already on guaranteed contracts for next year, those options picked up, the Whitecaps currently have 26 players on their MLS roster for next year. So only 4 spots currently remaining. But as we said at the start of this part, even though these options have been picked up, even though there's contracts there, it's highly unlikely that we're going to see all these players back in 2026. The Caps decided not to take the options up on defender Bilal Halbouni, but they are continuing discussions with him. They're also continuing discussions with free agent goalkeeper Yohei Takaoka, but they did sign the other free agent goalkeeper Isaac Boehmer to a new contract through to the end of the 2027 season with a club option for 2028. 3 options were declined, however: goalkeeper Max Anker, defender Mark O'Neill, and forward Nicolas Florio Chateau. So no big surprises there, although I could have seen Max brought back and then loaned out, but he does need to play. In fact, all those 3 guys need to play, so I'm pretty sure it was a conversation of go and get yourself a new club and develop your career and kickstart your career. And the purchase option was declined on Daniel Rios as well. So all the best to all those guys in wherever they land in their future careers. So, I mean, obviously tough decisions for Axel, and it's going to be more tough decisions to come. He talked on Monday at the end of season availability about not wanting to be a sell-on club, wanting to keep hold of the core group, but there will be decisions made. Some players will still move on. New faces will come in because they need a new energy. They need to have a new dynamism come in to the squad to take them to the next level in 2026. So let's just finish this part off with a little bit of audio from Axel Schuster from Monday's end of season availability. Axel, congratulations to you as well for your award. I think it's very well deserved. Kind of building on something Jesper said there, just also to kind of help us get our heads around it a little bit, with the MLS mechanisms and bonuses, when a team's successful, player salaries go up, how much of an issue is the salary cap going to be for the club next year in keeping the core of this group together?
Okay, there's several things that I have to say to that. So first of all, thank you. Thank you. And I also want just shortly to repeat what Jesper said. I really see that a reward as a reward for everyone who's working on the sporting side. I don't think that anyone wins the Sporting Executive of the Year if the team is not doing well. So there's a lot of people who have worked on that, making this club successful, and otherwise you wouldn't win this. So I share this reward with everyone who is working with me, and that actually is right away a good next transition to your question, because I work with an excellent expert in MLS cap, Quinn Thompson, and we are not in trouble at all with the cap. But I would say, is it really what we want to do to keep everything together and keep everything the same? I would question that. I don't think that we want to do this. We want to get some fresh energy. We want to get a little bit new competition. So for that, we will do certain things. We will do things to maybe also create the flexibility in the cap, but we could keep the team that we have and just continue. We have done very good work there, and we are always looking ahead. 1 season, 2 seasons, he is doing that mainly. He has always the chart already of next season and the following season, and so credit to him. What can be the next step is why we want to do this, because we want to do the next step, and you asked that, Jesper, and I want to say the next step could also be to prove that you can build a team successful and can be consistent, a team that plays in the playoffs in a top 4 position. We have seen that both teams who went to the final last year haven't made the playoffs this year. So doing the next step in this league sometimes is also only to prove that in the way we do things, you can build a roster with depth, you can do little changes with not getting in trouble in the cap, and still be a team that competes in every single game and competes for being in a top position and competing for titles. And that's what we want to do. And so not every thing will be exactly the same next year, but by design, because we think it's also needed to create a little bit of, I would say, new that comes with new energy and new competition.
Axel S. there, just talking about the decisions, the roster decisions, where the club's looking to go next year. Fantastic to hear, though, that I think the worry a few of us had based on what happened to the Galaxy last year and others in the past, no concerns at all around the Whitecaps. If they wanted to keep the core together, bring everyone back, they could do it. But there is going to be movement. There's going to be new faces come in. Some players will still move on from the 26 on the roster. And just want to finish by saying a huge congratulations to Axel Schuster being named Club Executive of the Year. Very well deserved. The Whitecaps as well, picking up a couple of other front office awards. And I just want to give a big thanks to all the work that was done by the communications team this year. So good working with them, so accommodating to all our requests. The normal ones, the weird ones. So to all of them, congratulations on your award as being named the MLS Best Communications Team. Another one that was very well deserved. But that is it for the Whitecaps chat for this episode. There's a lot more to come. Do not worry about that. Over the next few weeks, we're going to turn our attention to the World Cup for our final part. And we'll be back with that after song number 10 in our Festive 15. And as always, if you don't want to hear the music, fast forward 3 minutes. And if you do, we'll be back with that after this.
Hi, I'm Max Anchor, and you're listening to the AFTN Soccer Show.
Nae breath, nae sleep, living in a rat race, nae rest, nae peace, definitely the bad days. Imprisoned in a hamster cage, driven to sin and madness, rage. To keep the power out the hands of the people, they distract with evil. Present you with an apple on a steeple. Force feeding you that everybody's equal. They're decking out their Bentleys, you're patching up your Beetle. Blending in the background, stunning in my all black gutter clothes. Sizing up the unwashed, it's already way past go time, everybody knows. Busting the speakers, cussing the leaders, death to the ones we chose. Oh, you got a problem with authority? All apologies, bend or touch your toes, that's how it fucking goes. Let's spend the food money on tattoos, blow the rent on marijuana and hard booze, bounce about in Nirvana and Black Coot. Who needs fortune or fame? I'll get you. Let's spend the food money on tattoos, blow the rent on marijuana and hard booze, bounce about in Nirvana and Black Coot. Who needs fortune or fame? I'll get you. Could keep you safe for things that go bump in the night. Act to what I fantasise love would be like. Get a Doug Huff, Wayne's fucking all that shite. Play a lang of the game, turn my third eye blind. But I've been burdened with purpose, cursed with the knowledge the world is a circus. And it's like me to jump in the furnace with gasoline jeans from my sturdy circumference. Blending in the background, stunning in my all black gutter clothes. Sizing up the unwashed, it's already way past go time, everybody knows. Busting the speakers, cussing the leaders, death to the ones we chose. Oh, you got a problem with authority? All apologies, bend or touch your toes, that's how it fucking goes. Let's spend the food money on tattoos, blow the rent on marijuana and hard booze, bounce about in Nirvana and Black Coot. Who needs fortune or fame? I'll get you. Let's spend the food money on tattoos, blow the rent on marijuana and hard booze, bounce about in Nirvana and Black Coot. Who needs fortune or fame? I'll get you. 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 Let's spend the food money on tattoos, blow the rent on marijuana and hard booze, bounce about in Nirvana and Black Coot. Who needs fortune or fame? I'll get you. Let's spend the food money on tattoos, blow the rent on marijuana and hard booze, bounce about in Nirvana and Black Coot. Who needs fortune or fame? I'll get you.
Welcome back to the AFTN Soccer Show on CITR Radio 101.9 FM. And kicking off this part, it's song number 10 in AFTN's Festive 15 for 2025 from Glasgow in Scotland, a rapper that we've played many times on the show in the past. He's made the last couple of years as well with an entry in our Festive 15, Mog, with a YouTube-only promo release from February the 24th, and that was Voices. I should probably have mentioned about parental advisory explicit lyrics before we played that song, not after, as I'm very good at doing, but this show's going to be marked explicit, which is good, because I might be dropping a few F-bombs in this part.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few C-bombs I want to drop in this part as well, but I'll maybe save those. We're going to talk the FIFA World Cup draw. Yes, you can all swear now yourselves at the listening device that you have. What a terrible, terrible event. I knew it was going to be bad, but it was even worse than I imagined.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So much unnecessary fluff. As there always is.
There always is at these. That's the one thing that needs. I mean,
having the three leaders pick their own country out of a ball served no fucking purpose whatsoever, apart from a photo opportunity where they could all be standing with the thing anyway. You just dragged that out for 5 minutes that you didn't need to.
It was very awkward.
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing could have been done and dusted in 15 minutes, the actual draw part, because of all the predetermined nonsense that, of course, didn't make it feel more rigged than you usually feel.
Yeah. We talked about it in the last show, but yeah, very frustrating. And you hope that now that the groups are drawn, you hope that one or more of those sides, like France maybe looks like the most difficult one, you hope one of them do not like break the mold that was set for them, right, in terms of going through all the way.
Oh yeah, with all the top four nonsense. I mean, I'm still not 100% sure Uzbekistan went in the right group after they got pulled out, and I've had a few other folk I've seen say that.
Yeah, was that the one? I think that was the one.
Yeah, you messaged me right away, and you're like, how? And I was like, I don't know what's happening anymore.
I don't know if I missed it from their confederation, but yeah, it did not feel right. That's for sure.
I got a chance on Friday to go to a draw watch party, but it was in Miami. So it was a long way away from where everything else was at Fort Lauderdale. It was being hosted by MLS Apple TV folk, like Kaelin Kyle was there, and Sasha Kleshchen. Toss Ricketts was there as well. So this is how bad I knew the draw was going to be. I got the chance to go to that and have a $50 voucher for free food and drink. And I was like, I'm just going to stay in my room and watch it.
Yeah, I remember you told me that.
I mean, it would have cost me to get down there, whether by Uber, by train. I mean, Uber would have been a nightmare, as I learned from driving down. Oh, why do people not indicate in Florida? I can't remember if we started off the show talking about that or if that was before we recorded.
No, that was you and I before, yeah.
Oh, they just change lanes, sometimes across two, without even giving you any sign that they're going to do it.
Yeah, that's awkward.
Yeah. Anyway, back to this. So, I mean, this was long, drawn out, pointless, needless in bits. So imagine a 64-team, 6-country host one for 2030.
Yeah.
Trying to capture every kind of cultural thing that goes with all the countries, which at least they've all got a similar kind of thing if it's South America and Spain and Portugal. But then you've got to get Morocco in there as well. I did watch everything up to the teams getting pulled out with the sound down, which did mean I didn't know what was going on a lot of the time, as I mentioned. But now it's done. We know everyone's fate. We know what matches we'll definitely be hosting at BC Place, what possible knockout ones that there might be, and just how all the lie of the land lies for all of our countries. So let's start with Canada's group. Group B, it's a pretty good one for Canada, Zach. An excellent chance of not only winning their first World Cup match, but progressing out of the group. They'll fancy their chances.
I don't know, man. I think I've listened.
Have recent performances made you a little bit more wary?
No, because I think Canada's been great at the back in those recent performances. I know they have not been as clinical as I'd like to be going forward, but there are significant pieces that they're missing that will improve their attack, hopefully, including, a middle-aged. I was going to say mid-20s.
What?
Mid-20s.
What am I? I'm decrepit.
Alphonso Davies. But no, I honestly, and I had the privilege to go and do some analysis of the draw from a Canadian perspective on City TV News last week, which was a lot of fun.
Post-draw. Thankfully, you didn't have to do it live. Yeah. Imagine having to talk through that.
No, it was just I don't know,
a piece of peace, you would maybe say it was.
Yeah, no, it was like a 3 to 5 minute hit for the 6 o'clock news that I think they ran at other times. But it was nice to be in studio and work with Nima. And no, I still think that this is kind of like a mid draw for Canada. I think it could have been a lot better.
What, the US's group?
I think
it was piss easy.
Yeah, well, yeah, we'll get to some of the easy groups later, but I think it's a mid draw. Like they could have done way worse. They could have done way better. Obviously, avoiding Norway out of pot 3, huge.
Yeah, that was the team everyone wanted to avoid.
I know pot 2. Some would argue that Switzerland is maybe one of the lighter touches in the pot. I just don't think Switzerland's as weak as some people think they are, and
they always seem to do well in the group stages.
Totally,
well.
and I know I'm biased in that, but most of their squad I've watched at some point play in the Bundesliga, whether they're still there or they moved on to the
different league around Europe. They're maybe not the sexiest team from Europe, but they're good.
But yeah, so. And then the reason why I think the group is kind of a mid for Canada is that the unknown of the second European team And obviously, if that's Italy, it's a huge thing. But at the same time, this is not the Italy you and I grew up with, or this is not the Italy of even the Euro in 2021.
Well, it's
All
an
those guys are
Italy
retired.
that everyone's debating, can they even get through this playoff pathway?
Exactly.
So it's nothing to be terrified of.
But if they do, man, that opening game in Toronto will be crazy.
Yeah, June 12th, BMO Field.
So what's it, a 3 o'clock kickoff local?
That time I didn't write down.
I think it's 3 or noon. Well,
I mean, you've got your ticket for that already. Or do you? Let's see. Will I be generous enough to transfer that one to you? Or will I just say, screw you, I'm making thousands and thousands of profit? Because if it's Italy, the resale tickets...
That's someone who was asking...
Category 3 was 1,200. Just normal.
Yeah, exactly. Well, remember, I told you there was a pair for 21,000 for that game? I assume they were Category 1.
Because that's what I was saying, because it's the first game. This was the one I was dreading Scotland getting. I was like, had to pay an extra $1,000 to go to it.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy. But
I mean, it might be Northern Ireland, Wales, or Bosnia. Bosnia-Herzegovina, I should say.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm hoping it'd be Wales. Or Northern Ireland.
The only reason I wouldn't mind Wales is just to kind of shove it down Bellamy. Just throw it, like, after the game, like,
Yeah, let's go with Northern Ireland.
Eat your words, Bellamy. But no, I have a bunch of friends from Northern Ireland that would be also kind of brilliant. But
I know the Leeburn brothers that listen to this show would be loving that. They'd be making that trip.
Yeah, but I think it's kind of a mid draw for Canada, and I think I still think no matter what happens, they should progress, because if we're not talking about Canada defeating Qatar in that middle game and getting the 3 points, the minimum 3 points they'll need to progress, plus hopefully a draw or a win in one of the other two games, that would see them definitely progress.
Yeah, I mean, Qatar 3 points, it could come down to goal difference then. This is much like Scotland, which will come in a sec with Haiti.
Yeah.
Need to get goals in that game, because that could be the difference between you advancing as a third place team or going home again.
Yeah.
That game against Qatar is at BC Place, June 18th.
The first Canada game at BC Place.
Yeah, 3 o'clock kickoff. And then June 24th at noon, Switzerland. I mean, it could be the group decider, depending on how that first game goes.
I think it very, very much will, no matter what, because if Canada gets a result against their opening opponent, even if it's a draw, they beat Qatar, and you go into that Swiss game, and you could be playing for the right to stay at BC Place for the round, the round of 32, and if you win that, round of 16, which we now know could potentially, if things go to chalk, quote unquote, could be Portugal playing at BC Place.
Yeah. So I mean, Canada's path depends on if they finish first, second, or third. Win the group, which is going to be tough, because it's 2 European opponents. We knew some groups would have 2. Canada's just been unfortunate to get that. They stay at BC Place, and they'll play a third place team, which could be easy-ish, could not. Who knows? Finish second, though, and it's a trip to SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, LA, to take on the runners-up in Group A, which is Mexico's group, and is highly likely to be either Mexico, South Korea, or maybe Denmark or Ireland. That isn't an easy path.
No.
You're actually potentially better for you finishing third in the group. Have you checked that far ahead?
Where is it? There's multiple options for that.
Well, if you look at how it's all broken down, there's so many permutations, but there's only 2 options if you finish third. And it would be, you would travel to Santa Clara to take on Group D winner, which could be the US. Their group looks wide open. Or you would head to Boston to play the winners of Group E, Germany. I don't know why I'm saying you. Like, we would head, I'm Canadian now. Yeah, so you could have in the first knockout round Germany, Canada, and Boston.
Which would be a game I would need to do everything possible to be at.
But no, you've got your ticket for BC Place.
No, if that game is in Boston against Germany.
No, but you've got your ticket for the Group B winner at BC Place.
Yeah, if it's Italy, that'll be easy to maneuver.
Yes, that's not going to be hard to get rid of. Yeah, I mean, I might be heading to Boston, but we'll talk about that in a sec. Now, when we knew that we were having 5 group games at BC Place, I said that the 4 teams I would love to have here, for my own personal interest, not in terms of world-class players and big-name stars, I wanted Canada, Scotland, New Zealand and Australia. I got 3 of them.
Yeah.
Crazily. So the other 3 group...
For me, the teams I wanted obviously were Canada, Germany, and then after that, my choices would have been Austria, Switzerland, Poland would be the other sides I really wanted to see. I got one of them.
You got one that was like Austria, just with a couple of extra letters thrown in.
Australia?
Yeah. So the other 3 group games, June 13th, 9 o'clock kickoff, Australia...
Why is it a 9 o'clock? Why is it a 9 p.m. kickoff
I don't know.
on the West Coast? I don't understand that.
I mean, it fits for Australia. It's peak time for Australia.
Is that why it's being that time?
Maybe. That's the only thing I can think of. I know that because I watch my A-League games, so it's like that's a good time for Australia.
So if that is correct, and that game is Saturday night at 9 p.m., it does give me a better window to get back from Toronto. If
I was going to mention that. That was your big worry. I mean, you've got no problem getting back.
In theory.
Yeah. Oh, you should start looking at your flights now, though.
Yeah.
I already have, and I'll come to that in a sec. So they'll play the UEFA C path. No, is it? Yeah.
Turkey, Romania, Kosovo, or which one am I forgetting right now? Turkey, Romania, Kosovo.
This was the one thing I didn't write down. I'm trying to get this back up as we speak.
Oh, why can I not remember this?
Slovakia.
Oh yeah. That's who was in Germany's group in qualifying. Yeah.
I mean, if it's Turkey, great crowd out for that. Kosovo, I would be a little worried just because of some of the political tensions of there being trouble here if there's a ton of Kosovan fans make the trip, I've got to say. Slovakia would be a tough team. Romania, don't know as much about anymore, I've got to say.
I think, isn't Haji's son on the team?
Yeah, he was at Rangers for a while, so yeah, he is. So, I mean, that's an interesting game. Then, June 21st, we've got New Zealand against Mo Salah's Egypt.
I think you mean Omar Marmoush's Egypt, the man who could have played for Canada.
I think you'll know it's going to get billed as Mo Salah's Egypt.
Yeah, of course.
Now, have you been following all the Mo Salah stuff?
Kirk just told me that he might be away to Saudi Arabia in January. Is that what you're talking about?
He's going somewhere. Saudi Arabia would make sense. There has been murmurs that San Diego might come in for him.
Oh?
They have an Egyptian owner.
That would help him acclimatize? Quicker?
But he basically just threw Arne Slot under the bus today because he feels that the club have thrown him under a bus. I should put a video out on Twitter. I retweeted one of him doing this interview where he's just saying, the club's thrown me under a bus, I'm disrespected, I shouldn't be on the bench and all this stuff. And you see a guy in a yellow lanyard behind, just kind of like, that's the Liverpool's communications officer, knowing, yeah, my phone's about to blow up.
Yeah, oh man.
So he's gone in January. I mean, he isn't the player he was, to be fair. That's why he's dropped. But he seems to have united everyone to turn on Arne Slot now as Liverpool's horrible form's gone. But he's going to be here on June 21st. God, I bet it'd be fun to see him. It'd be fun to have Egypt here as well.
Forget about that. It's going to be nice to have Boxy in town.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really looking forward. I've been watching the New Zealand games. We spoke to Boxy about New Zealand and I said, imagine if you're at BC Place. And he said, oh, it'd be great. 2 games they've got here because they've also got Belgium on June 26th at 8 p.m.
I will say this is what, Group G, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I will say that it was highly disappointing especially after, I mean, maybe it was, no, obviously it wasn't because of this, but after our trash talking of, or I guess my trash talking of Tom Brady's, ownership at Birmingham and the subsequent documentary and whatever, that he was the one who probably gave Vancouver the least desirable draw out of those 9 teams that were left in pot one, right? Because I mean, you do
Well,
have.
we both said that because we were texting during the draw, and we are like, it's the worst one we could have got.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin De Bruyne is on the decline. I'm excited. I mean, Kirk and I have been using Jeremy Doku in FIFA/EA for like years now. So I wouldn't mind seeing him play live. But I've seen a bunch of these teams play at the World Cup. But I saw Belgium play last time, and they were underwhelming. I expect them to be better this time. But if you look at every single one of those other 8 countries, are far more desirable. Unless you're Belgium. And sorry, I do have a Belgian friend, so I don't know if Seb is listening, but
look, I love their waffles, I love their chocolate.
Sebastian is Sebi's very, very excited for this Belgium New Zealand match. But
I'm excited as well. All whites in the Whitecaps stadium.
Against the Red Devils of Europe, yeah.
Oh, white v red.
But no, seriously, like it was very, very unfortunate. And then to make it even worse, it's like, oh yeah, okay, Germany has a game in Toronto.
There's other ways to look at it. It's bad news if you've maybe paid over the odds for your tickets for games at BC Place. It's good news if you're hoping to be able to get into games as media or to get cheap tickets.
That's true.
I mean, New Zealand, Egypt might not be a big seller. The Australia game, well, there's so many Aussies here, it's going to get packed out. There's a lot of Kiwis as well. But I know for a lot of folk they'll be disappointed. It's not a 60-60 draw. I quite like it. I think it's good. The 2 knockout games that we get here could see round of 32. Well, it will see the Group B winner against a third place team. So maybe Canada, maybe Switzerland, and maybe Italy. The round of 16, though, could see Portugal with Ronaldo or Colombia come here. Now, either of them, I think, would be a big draw.
Yeah, that's the game I'm supposed to miss due to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the one you didn't buy any tickets for. I now kind of wish I had.
Yeah. Well,
I thought about it, and I didn't. And then I told you that I got a chance in the resale.
Oh,
and it was a little bit more, and I was like, I'm not paying that extra money.
Yeah.
And it wasn't much, it was like 30
because if it is
more.
Portugal, the tickets will be worth gold. But Colombians travel well. So
the Colombian team pack was the second one that sold out after Argentina.
Yeah.
So, elsewhere, I so wanted Scotland to be in Group B, D, or G, to be in the West Coast, maybe even here. Didn't happen, sadly. I wanted to avoid games in Mexico, just because of the language barrier and the heat and the altitude. So at least there's that. But Scotland's draw is terrible, I think, for all sorts of reasons. It's a very tough group. The travel is awful from Vancouver. It's the other coast and down Miami. And the schedule clashes with Canada and BC Place games. So I'm in a bit of a quandary here. So, Scotland kick off their first World Cup campaign since 1998 with a game against Fafa-Pico's Haiti, as we'll call them from now on June 13th, followed by a game against Morocco on June 19th, both at Foxborough Stadium in Boston, where it could be Canada heading to play Germany. They then travel to Miami for a date with Brazil on June 24th, and bizarrely, the last World Cup Scotland were in, 98 in France, they had Brazil and Morocco in their group.
Yeah.
That's just nuts. I mean, there's a great chance for Scotland to get out of the group stage for the first time because of the Haiti game. They've got to get goals. They could beat Morocco, but I genuinely fancy Morocco as a dark horse for this tournament.
Honestly,
I think they're going to go deep.
I fancy your chances at getting a point or beating Brazil over beating Morocco.
Yeah.
Like again, and having seen both those sides play the last World Cup, I know things are different and are going to be a little bit different under Carlo Ancelotti for Brazil. But knowing what I know about Carlo Ancelotti, I don't know that this is going to be an amazingly performing Brazil side. And I think you have the chance to potentially upset them for like even getting a draw, but Morocco is going to be very, very, very difficult.
Yeah.
Especially, that partly depends, I think, a little bit on how Hakimi heals after Luis Diaz did him with a really gross tackle from behind in the Champions League like a few weeks ago.
Oh, yes.
So he's down and out for a while. But assuming he's back in form and match fit, I think Morocco is going to be a handful.
Because, like, chatting with friends back in Scotland, they were like, "Oh, Haiti and Morocco, it's like two weaker teams." I'm like, you don't know Morocco. If you think Morocco's a weak team, you've not been following what they've done the last 4 to 6 years.
Yeah.
Now, I've got big quandaries here because I've got tickets for Canada's 2 group games, BC Place, and I've got tickets for Scotland's 3 group games. So Scotland's first group game clashes with Australia and UEFA C winner on June 13th. So if I miss Australia, I miss Australia. See Scotland, fine. So Canada's game with Qatar is the day before Scotland's game with Morocco. So I have looked, and because it's a 3 o'clock kickoff, I can go to BC Place and get a red eye to Boston. That gets into Boston at 5 a.m. Get an airport hotel, just get some sleep, go to the game, and then fly home again.
Would that mean you skip the Haiti game, or you want a Boston
flight?
Yeah,
but then that's the other thing. It's like I either go to Boston and stay for the 2 Scotland games and miss the Canada-Qatar game and the Australia game, but I see both of Scotland. Brazil's game with Scotland clashes with Canada-Switzerland.
Yeah.
It's the same day. So again, quandary there. Now, I genuinely think I'll pick the Canada game because I don't see Scotland beating Brazil. I genuinely don't want to go back to Miami again. And I know I'll be able to sell that ticket for some good money because it's Brazil. So I'll probably do that. I just need to decide if I want to go to both Scotland's games or just the one of them.
Do you have any Scottish buddies who've gotten tickets like you? Or?
Not yet. I did have one that said, if there's any games you're not going to, will you sell me your ticket? I'll be like, yeah, a few thousand. And they're like, no. I was like, yeah. It's like, what did you pay for it? And I said, what are you looking for it? $3,000.
Well, remember, I told you, I think I told you, we have a mutual Scottish friend who would.
Yes.
If you're not using your tickets, but I don't know that their pockets would be willing to be dug that deeply into to match your valuation.
I would be seeing what the going rate was, and I know it makes me a bastard, and I've criticised these people for doing it, but we were having this chat, and it's like, if we want tickets for games that we can't get tickets for, we're going to get ripped off ourselves.
Yeah.
So this offsets it. Like if I can't get in, if Portugal's here and it's Ronaldo, and I've never seen him play, I can't stand the guy, but I'd like to see him, to say I've seen him play, especially in my hometown. We've seen Messi here, so now we can see Ronaldo as well. So if I have to buy a ticket for that and I'm paying over the odds, at least if I've made money on a ticket, it's going to offset it.
Yeah.
That's how I'm looking at it.
I've seen Ronaldo play at both the World Cups I went to, so I don't have any. I don't have that same sense of FOMO.
It's just I was going to say in years to come I'll be dead then, but it's like I look back now and it's like, oh, I didn't see Maradona when he was at Hampden. I could have done that, and so you regret that as you get older. But I mean, I'm old now anyway. Not got too much longer to go. Episode 1000, everything ends then. I shouldn't joke about that in case folk report me for being on the verge. Anyway, that's my Scotland things. What's your thoughts on Germany's group, Zach? Get that up just now. Group G.
As much as
No,
I
not Group G. What group are you in?
E, I want it to be Group G. I think it's Group E.
Oh yeah, E's a good. E's a good. So you're in with Ivory Coast,
Yeah,
Ecuador, and Curacao.
the Ivory Coast match is the one that's in Toronto.
Curacao.
Yeah, easy there, Wayne. Um,
I know. I just wanted to say that again because you never mentioned it the first time. Has Wayne Gretzky never heard of countries?
well,
Macedonia. I think he
felt
was thinking of his macadamia nut cookies.
I felt so bad for him.
He
But
did get all the nightmare ones.
Yeah, he did, which was funny when he said that. But the only thing he probably shouldn't have said was, "Okay, I've been practicing." Because he missed the mark on a couple, and so let people know that he practiced and he still missed the mark on
I know.
those.
He would keep saying a country, and then the woman would say the proper pronunciation.
Sam, yeah. Oh man, no, I think as much as I've maybe liked to point out at Italy's failure to qualify for the last two World Cups, I can at the same time not ignore the fact that Germany has gone out of the group stage in the last two World Cups.
Crazy. Really. I don't think they're in danger here.
Well, I mean, they better not be. I mean, to not get out of that group, really to not win that group, would be ridiculous. But crazier things have happened. But no, I think Germany should collect. They should collect 9 points and go through as top of their group. And yeah, we'll see how that shakes down. But like you said, that potential of Canada, Germany, and Boston. I've never been to Foxborough. And that's the round of 32. You said, right? That would be very tempting if I could financially somehow swing it to make it work.
Well, I've got a quandary question for you now. So you're going through on the 12th for Canada.
That's the plan.
So that's a given for now, unless things change. And then your plan is to come back for the games here, see Canada, Qatar is the second game. Would you be tempted to stay in Toronto and then see the Germany-Ivory Coast game and then miss the two games here?
No, I got to be at the Canada games.
It's Qatar, though.
Yeah, but it's...
Because that's why I'm weighing up. It's like, well, I mean, if I was to miss Canada, Qatar, it's not exactly, I'm not missing a huge thing. But obviously Canada's my second country.
Well, there's a variables to this, but that would mean I'd miss Australia versus the European side, and Canada, Qatar.
Yeah, this is what I might have to miss as well.
I would be absolutely tempted. The potential problem for me, Michael, is and we haven't sat down as a family to talk about all this yet, although it's on the I think I might have to wait until Christmas break.
It's on Christmas dinner.
No,
but turkey chat.
No, but the biggest variable for me in that, Michael, is in an ideal world, I want to go to that Canada opening match with someone from my family, probably Kirk, because it would mean more to him than my wife or my daughter. But if he does do that, I'd either have to be sending him home alone because that's like right around when school's finishing and exams, and he's in grade 12 and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know if he could get special dispensation to write them early or miss whatever was going on in that little window. But yeah, I mean, there's potential I could miss the Canada game, but that would be difficult. I mean, here's the thing, Michael. I've been to 3 Canada World Cup games. I've been to 5 Germany World Cup games. So and seeing these ones at home, I think, is more important. And
yeah,
I don't know about.
It's the first ever.
Yeah, well,
Canada World Cup game in Vancouver.
In Vancouver, yeah. And I don't know. I mean, there's a number of variables that we don't know about what that game is going to look like and all that kind of stuff. So, and it also for me, it might depend. Are you going away? What opportunities does that open for me?
Yeah.
Are you going to be in Boston for that? So, Yeah, I'm torn. I don't know how that's all going to play out. My hope is just that I can make it. I mean, yeah, my hope is that I can make it to all the Canada games in the group stage, and if they go beyond that in the game here, if they play 2 games here, like as of right now, I'm going to have to miss the second one unless something changes drastically, which I don't see happening. At this moment, if the trip I'm supposed to be on for work goes ahead, but then for me. Outside of those games, and I guess we have in your allotment we have the Belgium's group winner round of 32 in Seattle as well, right?
Oh yes,
So outside of that, outside of those games, my dream would be to make it to the final, just because it's the final. Again,
Yeah.
that's in a hey, I have unlimited money.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to apply for media accreditation for the final. I think my chance of getting it is less than 1%.
Yeah.
But what the hell, you never know.
Exactly. And so, but for me, after those round of 16s, it would be potentially, could I navigate somehow to get to a Germany knockout game? I would look at that.
I mean, if Scotland got through, I would potentially look at travelling to where they went as well. It's just...
The other thing is, talking to Flo, it sounds like a bunch of the dudes who are like, some of them, there's a few I think who are just not coming, but some of those who are coming are literally only coming for the group stage. Like, they're only going to do the group stage and then go home. So even if Germany advances, on paper they should, then there might be less Germans in country to get those allocated tickets. And I'm in the DFB. I'm way down the pecking order, but I'm in the DFB system for tickets, so I might be able to get tickets from the DFB. And because it's the DFB, my hope is too, Michael, is that they will sell their tickets at the actual original pricing, not some kind of inflated market value pricing.
Not like some bastard would do.
No, but I mean, like,
No, I don't.
No, but no, I mean, here's in all honesty, I could see the CSA saying, "Oh, look, yeah, these prices were this, but on the FIFA site now they're this. That's what we're charging, or that's what FIFA's charging us, so we're charging you that, right?"
Yeah.
I could see a country like Germany saying, "We don't care that they're charging us this. We're going to charge you what the real price is and eat the costs ourselves," right? That's something that they might do because they know the type of pushback they'll get if they don't. But who knows? I don't know if the countries are even allowed to do to do something like that.
I had a quick look to see what Scotland's 2 options were if they finished third in the group.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be either Foxborough again or East Rutherford, and it would be Germany or France if they were the 2 group winners. And it's like, well, we're not going past the round of 32 then. Although runner-up in Group C, let's see. Runner-up in Group C plays the winner of Group F, one of the few runners-up that has to play a group winner. Man, we really have the shittest group. And that would be like Netherlands or Japan.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah. Wow, yeah.
That is tough. One final thing I want to say on the draw is, I just saw this tonight. So June 26th game in Seattle, which I can't remember if you got tickets for that one or not. No, we
don't.
Oh, no, because it's the same day as the game at BC Place. Yes. Yeah. Oh, yes. So, June 26th in Seattle is the same day that we have the New Zealand-Belgium game here.
Yeah.
For Group G. So, the game that we get is New Zealand-Belgium, and the game in Seattle is Iran versus Egypt. So, when I saw that out on Saturday when they announced all the venues, I was 100% convinced on Friday, we're going to get Iran-Egypt.
Yes, yeah, totally.
Because it's 2 teams that you would think, let's have their fans in Canada. So when I saw that was in Seattle and we had New Zealand-Belgium, I was like, oh, cool. Then I saw today that game had been allocated as the first ever Pride game in World Cup history. And you've got Iran playing Egypt, 2 countries that persecute and punish gay people. And it's like, that is mental.
Yeah,
I don't think that's going to go down well with either of the federations.
That's going to be interesting.
Yeah. The fans and stuff as well, that is... Yeah. That is just bizarre. And they could have avoided it by just putting that game up here. I don't know if it's... I mean, it's not even that, oh, well, we want Belgium to stay in Vancouver. This is their first game in Vancouver. It's New Zealand that's getting the benefit.
I think they do want... I do think they did want... I don't know what the behind-the-scenes stuff is, but I think Vancouver needed to get one of those top teams, like top-seeded teams. I think...
Oh, maybe they did look at the other games and thought,
I haven't looked at all the games in Seattle, but Seattle does get a number one team in the U.S.
Yes.
Right? I didn't get... Well, actually, I guess BC Place does have Canada. But I'm guessing, without having looked at it, I'm guessing Seattle must have some other pot one team there.
Right, let's have a quick...
You have it in front of you?
Seattle's got UEFA Path A winner. So let's just say Italy against Qatar.
That's that's Path A is Path A, yes.
Yeah. So that's in that one. They've got US Australia, Garay. They've got Belgium Egypt.
Oh, okay, they have Belgium. Okay.
Egypt Iran. So Egypt get two games down there.
No, but that's what I mean. They at least get the top team from that group as well.
Yeah.
But so they don't have another. So they get two. So they've been allocated the same as Vancouver. They each get a host nation, pot one, and then they get Belgium.
Yeah. And then they have the winner of Group G against the third place team.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, they don't have a round of 16, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think Group D, the US's group. I like to refer to that group as Easy Company.
So I was going to say, what do you feel is the group of death, and what is the easiest group? Because I think Group D is the easiest group.
Yeah, I think the hardest group is Group I. You have France, Senegal, Norway, and then the international playoff. I think you have France, and then you have Norway's Holland's Norway, and you have Senegal who have some weapons. I think that's a crazy group.
Yeah, that and Scotland's Group C, I think.
That's because you overrate Scotland. No, I'm just joking. No, Scotland
probably do.
Scotland's, yeah, I think Scotland is one of the better kind of third teams in there.
England's got a pretty easy one as well.
I don't know. I was going to say England. If Ghana, depending on, I haven't seen Ghana play in a while. Panama, Panama could cause some of these teams potentially problems if they play as defensively sound as they have.
They've just
even in the
Nations at the World Cup, though.
No, but in the Nations League finals when I was there, right? They, when they knocked out the U.S., right? Like they played. I mean, it was only the U.S., but they played soundly defensively, and were, I think, a little bit unfortunate in the final against Mexico. But,
well, let us know your thoughts on Canada's draw, the games that BC plays, the draw in general, not the actual draw as it was played out on TV, but the result of the draw. Let us know the usual places, AFTN Canada on X, AFTN on Blue Sky. That is pretty much it for the football chat. We will finish, as always, with this episode's Wavelength, the section of the show where we play a song all about football or with a connection or backdrop to football. So there was only one theme we could have for this episode's song, and that had to be a World Cup song. Just as a little advance notice for what we've got planned for Wavelength next year, I might, from the start of the year up to the start of the World Cup, just go with World Cup themed songs, apart from March, obviously, which is Football Violence Awareness Month. But for this episode, we're going back to 2014 and a song released by a US band called Starry Most. And it's all about the tough draw for the US at the 2014 World Cup, where they were drawn in Group G alongside Germany, Portugal, and Ghana. A tough group. You know what that means. It would be called, this is Starry Most, Group of Death.
our team. World Cup draw pulling for our team. World Cup draw for Catholic history. World Cup draw the enigma wrapped in a cloak of mystery. The draw's rigged, that's just FIFA. The draw's rigged, give us FIFA. The draw's rigged, that takes the USA. The draw's rigged, but we'll win anyway. Who could have imagined? Who'd anticipated? Ping pong balls of doom. You would never see what fate did. Group of dead, group of dead, group of dead. Group of dead, group of dead, group of dead, group of dead. Oh no, group of dead, group of dead, group of dead. We'll vanquish the group of dead. Amazonian mind, now this is where it all begins. Up against Ghana, the climate famous them. Ghana has ended our last two. Not this time, their defeat will be true. Next up the portals, the bonnet team of shield. Cristiano Ronaldo, his hair never healed. Got a man crush, can't think of Portugal anymore. Ronaldo, Yank will show you the door. US versus Germany in the town of Recipe. Lindsay won in 90s in the crowd's head all day. Motivation Meister, Jurgen's got the recipe. Recipe for victory. Are you listening to me? Who could imagine? Who anticipated? Ping pong balls of doom. USA and T were faded. Disco breakdown. We will survive. We got chance, look, and passion. We will survive with the 39% chance of adventure. We will survive. We'll go 9,000 miles. We will survive. Don't you doubt us in these trials. As long as I know how to love, I know we will survive the group of death. Hey, hey, the group of death.
Starry Most from 2014 there, Group of Death. Let us know who you think your Group of Death is for next year's World Cup from the draw that we've just had. Second song we've played this year, incidentally, called Group of Death. I still think it's Group C, but there we go. So that is it now for the show. It's been a long one. It's been a long day. I've been up 22 and a half hours. It's now 2:15 in the morning here, or 5:15 in Florida time. My eyes look smaller and smaller and they're drooping now and they're red. So let's wrap this up. Any final thoughts? Quickly from you, Zach.
Yeah, no, just excited to, now that we have this info to, plan and prepare in the coming weeks and hopefully solidify some plans and, know when things are going to happen and, hopefully also book some flights. But, Yeah, it was a weird draw, but I'm thankful it's over and now we know more. Looking forward to March. March is going to be those March 26th, March 31st. Those are going to be crazy. We're watching the playoffs for Europe.
Oh, I was like, what's happening then?
Yeah.
I was like, is Canada Nights friendlies? I know Jesse Marsh was teasing some, but he hasn't said what they are yet. But...
Well, someone's already had to reschedule. Was it us? Someone had to reschedule a friendly already because they. Oh, it was Germany.
Oh, did they draw them in the?
Germany drew. They had a friendly set up for March against Cote d'Ivoire, and they now have to reschedule because they won't play them before the tournament.
Interesting. I wonder if there's any others like that. I'm looking forward to the off season. A little bit of downtime. I kind of feel I need to unwind a little bit. It's been a very busy, hectic year. Lot of podcasts, lot of travel, lot of football, lot of fun, and we'll bring you some more. So end of season stuff over the coming weeks. If you're a newish listener and you're not sure what happens, we go all year long. We love our off-season stuff. We'll be doing a CPL end of season review and NSL end of season review. We've got audio to bring you from that. That one will probably come in our last show of the year. We'll have our Christmas special, which we have a lot of fun. We've done some stuff with the Whitecaps players ahead of that, just some Christmas talk. We've got some interviews coming up in that as well, some big ones, and we'll cover all the Whitecaps stuff that's coming up in the coming weeks. Thank you, as always, for listening to this episode of the show, being with us all year. We will be back with another one soon. Until then, as always, thanks for listening, take care, and mon the Caps.
Going to your first match is an experience you never forget. The atmosphere of what's going on around the pitch looks beautiful, and you always look and go, wow, I'd love to play here one day. If you get the bug, it's going to stay with you for life.
10 minutes left. Yeah, but there's still some time. It's not the final score. We need more than the numbers we're given. Show us you live and breathe the game. You're more than a name. That's what we came for. We can bring you more than the score. Every story. Let's take this thing off of the field into the real world, away from the numbers, away from the numbers.